Okay, I got that on. All right, I know I go in and hit one more button, but I don't know where it is yet, so I'm going. Hang in there, folks. Oh, here's where it is. So I think we're live and I think we're going. So somebody let me know and all will be good here. Because I don't want to do this again like I did last time. Saying we are on. What does that mean? You see me and you hear me? Is that you? Do you see me and you hear me? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. Because I don't see me or hear me. Ah. Well, we should be live. Okay. Cool. Do you see me too? And you hear me? Oh, that's all I needed. All right. I just thought I would see it though. Why am I not seeing it here on the show? Do y'all see it? Anybody else see it on their YouTube? Well, I was able to give it a like. Let me look over here in incognito. So that means I'm going to have to cut all this out. I hate that. Okay, if we're going live, let's say, oh, we're good. We're good. All right, looks like I'm in a chef outfit. Okay, well, let's do it. All right, cool. We are on. And that's all that matters right now. We are on. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Get all the wrong things out of the way here. All right, everybody. Hey there, Connie Willis here for Connie Willis Live. You know me from Coast to Coast AM, and my private shows are Blue Rock Talk, and that's Earth's Most Interesting Conversations. A lot of you know that for many, many years. After that is Connie After Dark, where you can have a drink with me. Yep, and we just talk about anything and everything, and nothing ever leaves that room. It's never archived. No one ever sees it again, unless a court asks me to show it. That's it. Otherwise, we have Project Creepy Hotspots, the live expedition show. It's amazing. It's real. 4 days, 3 nights. We're up in the mountains. You're going to like that one if you've never done it. It's my favorite of all. It's the best of the best. It's a lot of fun, and we see a lot of things because we're the real deal. And if you're an experiencer, I believe that you see a whole lot more things than, and it's not really than other people. It's just that they come around you. And I think there's a reason why, and I think it's because they know you're an experiencer and somebody taken. An experiencer is somebody that's dealing with this kind of stuff with aliens, or apparently, I guess there's some other things too that take you. Been learning that along the way. So this is my YouTube channel. I've had it around for a while. If you want to talk, you got to subscribe, and I hope you subscribe anyway, because I started it, and then got off of it for a while, started again, got off of it for a while. But now that AI is a part of this, I'm really excited because it's a whole lot different and it's going to be a whole lot better experience for everybody. So thanks for being here. Jim Penniston is my co-host here. Let's bring him up and say hello. Hello there, Jim Daddy.
Hello, Connie.
How's it going, man? Look at your hair all coiffed up and you're all set for the night. You look like you showered even for the show. Good for you. I look like a chef with this shirt on. I look like I'm back at school.
You do.
No, I look like a freaking
yeah.
chef. You see it?
Oh, there's a little spaghetti sauce on you there. I see.
Yeah, well, that's true. I know. I did that earlier today. What would you like as your order there, sir? What would you like? So what's up? Are you ready for tonight? Now, okay, so Jerry Avalos, if I said it right. I've always been afraid of his name, but I think I've been saying it right in the past year, maybe. So I've known Jerry for a long time. And I got to know him when I got to know a lot of super soldiers. And Jerry will correct me if that phrase is wrong now. He will correct me if I have something wrong, because when you learn about some of these things, you learn it from different people. But there was a whole group of people at one point. It was all about the super soldiers. That's it. It was all about them. And what I know, Jim Daddy, I'm giving you what I know. I remember that most people, this is what I remember, because Jerry's definitely going to tell us, well, it's not totally true, is it, Connie? Because I remember it being only blondes and blue-eyed people, young boys, maybe from 17 to 24 or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to let him fill in with all that. But what happens is these kids, they'd go to sleep and they'd be taken during the middle of the night to go fight wars and fight this and fight that. And whether it's a practice fight or the real deal, or maybe it was all practice fights for something big. And well, was it the aliens taking them? Is it people taking them? Is it a certain government group? Is it a group at all? What's going on? What's happening? Some of us are taken for different reasons. I believe I'm in the total hybridization project. Let's see what Jerry's all about. But what do you know about it, Jim, before we go into this? See, now everybody, Jim and I are experiencers. I'm a lifer. I've been taken all my life. Jim, as you know, the Rendlesham UFO incident, he's the one that spearheaded going out to the field. Just +1. Just 1 + 1?
Yeah, well.
You mean with the creepy hotspot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He's had 2 experiences, but the big one you know him as is the Rendlesham incident. And he put his hands all over the UFOs. The only person I know that's ever done that. Got a download, missing time of 45 minutes. And hey, Jerry might even be able to tell you something about all that because he's really intelligent. He really understands this stuff and he's got incredible abilities. But I do know, I can say this for sure. When people were taken as the super soldiers, and again, he may be correcting me on all this because I heard it from other people. And I'm going to mention a name to you tonight, Jerry. See what the answer is to that. I'm looking forward to that question and answer. But anyway, let's just get to it. We're all going to talk. You guys ask any question you want. That's what this show is really about. It's not an interview show. It's a conversation show. We're going to be talking. And Jim is an experiencer, me as an experiencer. And even if you've been taken once, you've gone through it, right? You've seen it or experienced it or regressed it. And Jerry's been going through it all his life too. So let's go ahead and bring Jerry up first. And then at one point, I'll start looking at your all's questions. Put your questions in all caps. And also Deborah Jane in there, or AI Jane. What's her name in here tonight? What is she? She's AI Jane now officially, right? Okay. She will help you out as much as possible if you need any help. So we got Jerry up here. We need to get his camera and mic on. He might have went to the bathroom or something. No. But Jim Daddy. Oh, hey, Jerry.
Test.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay,
test.
Yeah, because I don't know, my video broke in between the green room
No
and now.
way.
Yeah. I've been sitting here
What?
trying to mess with it, turning it off and on, and reloading, and for some reason, it's just some kind of software error now.
Oh, well,
What's
you
going
want to
on there?
fix it? Because I'm going to talk to Jim for a minute here. So why
Yeah,
don't you
Okay,
just
let me
give it
let
a
me try.
shot? I'll throw you down there. I'll throw you in the dungeon. We call it the dungeon. We'll let
I'm not
Jerry
the
work on
only
that.
one that has problems with this.
I know it. Well, I did
Wow.
too. Oh my gosh, I
Oh.
know. So, Jim Daddy, what do you know about super soldiers or any of this that I'm talking
Oh,
about?
well, I listened to Coast AM with Connie Willis,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
it.
Hey.
That's it. That one show. That's all I know about it. I've never heard of
Yeah.
it before.
Oh, when Jerry was on, he was on. I
Yeah,
guess maybe what, a month ago or something like
yeah,
that. Maybe.
yeah. And that's one of the reasons I says, yeah. When you said you're going to put them on, I said, oh yeah, because I tell you what, I was half asleep. You know what I mean? It was late. It
Yeah,
was Central
yeah.
Time, so. But yeah, so I thought that was a good idea. Hmm.
Do you know what you picked up? Do you remember what you picked up on it? I mean, you just don't. You know nothing about it, right? Nothing.
Uh, yeah, nothing. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think you were talking about they might take you for training or something like that. I think that's what you're referring to,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was pretty much from the great show that you did on Coast to Coast with them. That was a
Oh,
good
thanks.
show. I
Thanks.
enjoyed that. Yeah.
But didn't you just say you fell asleep?
I was pretty tired, but I didn't fall asleep. But you know
Okay.
what? To tell you the truth,
Be honest. I just want the truth, man. That's all we give here.
I
Okay,
know,
you
but
fell asleep.
well, yeah, but I bet it was like a 2 or 3 minute, one of those numbers,
Oh,
it
okay.
was
Yeah,
like
right.
that
Oh,
because
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but during that 2 or 3 minutes, I'm sure I missed, like, a hoop of stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. If it's my show, you're missing a hoop of a lot of stuff in two and a half minutes. All right, let's see if I can get into the live chat here so I can see what people are
Well,
asking.
they're
All
they're pretty
right.
busy. They're busy
They
there.
are. You know
Oh,
what? I don't know what it is, but it's always I get the best people that like my work and as friends and as listeners because they love to talk. So whenever there's a chat, which that's why I love doing live stuff, I always have a chat and everybody has a good time in the chat. I mean, I'm like, man, I miss the chat. Okay, if you would like to talk and you haven't, and if you're like, oh, well, I can't. Well, you got to be a subscriber. So just subscribe, and then as soon as you subscribe, you can come in and you
mhm.
can do that. I like that. Scotty Knows 84 says, Coast to Coast is so nostalgic. Connie's voice takes me back. Ah, thank you. That's so nice. And
Mhm.
he's grateful to be here. Rob has WAP. Is that right? Hello, Connie. Long time listener, first time chatter. Oh, I love it. Chatter. I like that. Nice to meet you, Rob. You lived in Poland, Maine for some time. Wow. Okay, cool. Thanks everybody for letting me know all is good. And as soon as we get Jerry, oh, Jerry's okay, good. Oh, Jerry's got his little green room behind him, his little greenie. I know those things. What's up, man?
Yeah, for some reason my setup with the background died, so gotta go. So,
Would you have like space behind you, or like what would you have behind you?
actually, I had a AI generated version of the desert, just kind of
Oh,
at
okay,
dawn, kind of. Yeah. So,
okay. We'll all
but
imagine that.
yeah, it looks pretty. It was pretty. So,
All right, so I don't know if you've ever met Jim Daddy. We call him Jim Daddy. You know him as Jim Penniston, Jerry Avalos, right? Avalos, right?
yes,
Did I say that right?
Avalos, yeah, either way,
Avalos, okay, Avalos,
Avalos, yeah.
Avalos, okay.
Um,
Hello,
But
Jerry.
so he was
yeah,
listening.
How you
But
doing?
anyway, you all say hi to each other.
Nice to meet you.
yeah, definitely a pleasure and honor. Yeah, you're legend.
Same.
So
Oh,
Isn't
really?
he? He is. I know.
yeah,
You'll love
absolutely.
him. You'll love him, Jerry. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's very much. He's one of us. You know.
Just to give a
He's
heads up,
all about the
Connie,
truth.
I'm getting like a 3-second freeze once in a while, okay? Just so you know that.
You
Just
are.
yeah, it's with my internet, I think, here. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry
All
about
right.
that. I didn't wanna do that live with you,
How
but
dare you, man? What's going on?
Yeah,
Well, we're live. Okay. So, did y'all meet each other a little bit there? So, Jim
yeah.
only heard about super soldiers that one time while he was listening to me on the air. He kind of was falling in and out of sleep, but he was like, man, I really like that Jerry guy. And I was like, we'll have him on sometime so that, we can all talk about it, because it is something that a lot of people don't know about. But then it's also something that a lot of people heard, but they've got it wrong, or they want to learn more. So I remember when I had you on Coast. Okay, well, let me say this first. So at one point when I met all these super soldiers, that's around the time that I met you. I was going through some stuff and I needed a super soldier help, and Jerry was like there, and Jerry was there for me if I called him about anything, any kind of questions like that, just learning about this kind of stuff. And then at one point we had you on Coast with frequency. That was cool because everything has frequency, right? So we can talk about frequency tonight, super soldiers and abilities and experiencers just across the board, because that's what you got here, all experiencers. I'm a lifetime one with the hybridization project. Jim was taken 45 minutes and got a regression after he was downloaded the ones and zeros of the Penniston code with the Rendlesham UFO incident. Be sure to get his book, by the way. You guys go to Amazon and pick up the Rendlesham Enigma, because it's good stuff, and he's got another one coming up. And he continues to keep as soon as he learns something, he puts it back into that book. So it's a pretty thick book, but you've got every answer in there for every question that you've got. And Jerry, you got I put down in the description, I think I did, at least I was going to, I do have your Facebook down, but you also have a couple websites.
So I have hollowtreefoundation.org, and then also noknoxbox.com for frequency inventions.
Yep. Okay. And Jim Daddy's at jimpenniston.com too. All right. So, I can ask you a 50 billion questions, but I know Jim's going to have some good ones. But before we get to the questions that we have ourselves, and you're just talking, about all this stuff, but what is a super soldier? And what I did recognize is when I asked you that on Coast, when we were talking about on Coast, you kind of went away from super soldier and went into something else.
Well, yeah, because the super soldier name, so to speak, seems to come from the researchers' line that progressed from the Nazi experiments, which they called the super soldier experiments. And so, like, I only got that name. I was in the military.
Okay, because I only got the name super soldier from the ones that said that happened to them, and they show their bruises and everything the next day and all the stuff. And they were never military either.
Some of them may have been. I know I've met some that have essentially been in similar programs.
I never knew that. Okay. Yeah, I never knew that at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what was really interesting to me too when I went to go find others who may have experienced something similar, because when I had experienced all this all my life, and I kind of figured, well, at one point it dawned on me that this isn't fake, right? Like, there was too many real locations that I was seeing. And so I'm like, well, if this is happening to me, there has to be others. And so that's kind of when I went online and tried to see if there's any similar stories. And yeah, there's similar stories. It seems like all of us kind of had different roles and different kind of projects.
Yes, but it was amazing. Yeah.
And
I believe I was right in the middle of all of this stuff with a whole bunch of you guys. So I believe Jim Daddy's going to be a little different with you. But anyway, go ahead, Jerry, and keep explaining. Jim's just never heard of it before. That's all.
No, it's cool. Yeah, it's fine, because it is. It's not like the most widely known aspect of this phenomenon because it does fall under ufology to some degree too, because there tends to be some kind of ET interaction in the middle of all this,
right?
And so yeah, there's a lot of different experiences, a lot of different types of experiences, and that super soldier quote unquote moniker seems to have come from the line of research that continued, and then the researchers who kind of put that label on it, so to speak. Another one is MILAB, or military abduction phenomenon. And yeah, that's another way that it's also kind of described, because generally there's some kind of military aspect that goes beyond just that goes beyond solely an ET contactee, right? Because and it also tends to fall under that super soldier category because most of this had to do with military applications. So whether like us physically were doing anything, or it was our minds or whatever, it was all about some kind of weaponization aspect of the technology.
And some people were military and some people weren't.
Yeah.
Okay, so that could that just be, hey, you're an abductee? you're a lifer. And this is where we're going to put you over in this area. So it doesn't matter. So you're just a lifer no matter what. You're an abductee no matter what. If you decide to get into the Air Force or Marines or whatever, or you don't, that's just your choice. It's not like they said, you're in the military, we're going to take you now, right? Everybody in it's pretty much been taken all their life, right? Just like me.
It would seem to be the case. Yeah, because there's a lot of, especially for me, like we're children, so we couldn't have obviously enlisted or anything. But at the same time,
I don't know. Some people say we did.
It could very well be, in some clandestine aspect of things. But, for myself, they did send military recruiters to my door till I was like 25 years old. And I understand that's pretty rare for that to happen, because it wasn't like I was looking. I did not contact any recruiters. I think I shared on the coast where we used to mess with our friends in high school by signing each other up to be contacted by a recruiter.
You're horrible. Oh my God.
But this was well after that. They for a while I thought it was just that. I'm like, oh man, my homies are getting me back or something, right? But it persisted for years, and it was some weird calls too. Like, and this was during Don't Ask, Don't Tell kind of era, but they're asking, if that's going to be an issue for you, no, there's ways in. And I'm like, no, dude, like that's not my issue with not going into the military. You know what I mean? Not that there's anything wrong either way, but it's kind of like, why would we even ask, dude? Like,
not if there's anything wrong.
So I've had a lot of weird kind of military, recruiters for a long time. And it was until essentially like that 25 years or so was when I was really trying to resist what was happening to me at the height too. So which kind of made sense to me. I'm kind of like, oh wow, this is weird. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, and I know with my experience, it seems to be with what people describe as the looking glass technology. Like they didn't tell me, we're not briefed or anything like that. I'm pretty sure it was not supposed to remember anything. But for those who aren't familiar with my story, I'm a natural born lucid dreamer and astral projector, as well as being highly intuitive and empathic. So to me, I didn't realize there was a difference between the worlds, like in a sense that I always just wake up in the dream world all my life. And so because of that, I think I was able to retain a lot more than I was supposed to, because subsequently in retrospect, I could see how they drugged us and all this other stuff to kind of keep us complacent or just sedated, to interface with this technology.
You know what, with all the things that you just said, ability wise, I think bottom line, you're an abductee and all those things follow under it, because those are the abilities you get, right? So bottom line, abductee. Go ahead, Jim. I know he's dying. He's like, I got to ask something.
No, I'm listening. Yeah, it's fascinating because I'm not to the speed that you are on this, Connie. That's all, it's so far. Keep going. Tell me more.
So what I know, Jerry, I remember talking with Preston Nichols at one point. How do you see him attached with this? And it's basically just to catch Jim up is at night you'd be like I might be taken and they might study something with me, get an egg, whatever the freak they're going to do with me. Right. But they're doing with Jerry a whole different thing. And you know what? It's usually because they like men with longer hair and beards. So if you don't want, just cut your hair and shave, and you're good.
I'll do it.
Tell everybody what it is and catch Jim Daddy up, because I know he wants to ask questions, and I know other people want to ask you stuff too.
Well, yeah, I know. It seems to me that like there was a pretty big divide in types of research from, let's say, like Montauk and the West Coast, where I was at with Edwards Air Force Base. And as far as my recollection, I don't remember crossing paths with that East Coast like at all. I was primarily going out to Edwards and some industrial areas over here in Southern California. But yeah, to me, when I hear the Montauk stories and I hear the different experiences, it sounds very similar. It's like very similar protocols, but different objectives, shall we say? Like project objectives. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Was it right that at that point it was like 17 to 24-year-olds and they were blonde and blue-eyed? Was that a thing at one point? I remember that distinctly. You don't remember that?
Not in my recollection. It was a very mixed bag of people, and especially during the training aspect of stuff, it really came down to who could survive and who didn't, and who can accomplish the goals and who couldn't. And so by the time, things were all said and done, like I said, there really wasn't any one kind of characteristic I could say from some of the more skilled operators, I guess you can call it. I kind of consider it almost like piloting, though, because it was more like we were using this apparatus to control other things. But in terms of our own personal abilities to project into some of the telepathic areas, like that comes to your natural prowess too. And like I said, I didn't see any one distinguishing race, so in that sense, that could do it.
Okay, I wonder what that was all about with the blonde and blue-eyed. Maybe Preston did that because he liked that or something. I don't know. Well, you never know.
We could, and this isn't like, it might not just be straight racism. It could just be the literal continuation from the Nazi research, because like how Hitler wasn't blonde hair, blue-eyed, but these Palladian contacts, that they talked about kind of are. And so it could have some kind of allegiance going on there or something, because now I wasn't privy to all like the politics involved with like some of the NHI stuff, but it was obvious that there was some kind of agreements between some of them and humans. And so it could have to do with some kind of branching interests, because how there's no one unified UFO agency here, and everyone has their own agendas. Yeah, okay,
yeah, exactly. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's all hypothetical. I can't confirm that, but I can see how that could be a potentiality there, because I said it could be that they are trying to narrow certain variables down to like, okay, these are certain genetic markers. We see these kind of things, and something to that degree. Not being an apologist either here. But it could, that I could see how that hypothetically could be. But in my instance, it just seemed like they're more interested in who could actually accomplish the ends
task
there.
Yeah. So you just, you're just doing your thing. You go to bed. You wake up the next morning. You got bruises or cuts on you, and you though are pretty good at remembering stuff. So they would just put you like. This is just the memories I have from people telling me a long time ago that they would take them to another planet, or maybe they were on our planet. They didn't know where they were. Sometimes they were like, it didn't look like our planet, and they would fight a cyclops or something. They'd be given a machete or something, and they'd get a weapon, or they'd find a weapon and they would fight it. And some people said, it was training for something in the future. They don't know what it is. All they know is they got to do it. And they are really doing it to survive. They don't know any different in this scene they're put in.
Yeah.
Does that make sense with you too? Is that the kind of same thing with you?
It does, because there's different layers to that. Because from my recollection, there is methods, and this is like, I'm sure a lot of those who are very well studied and practiced in metaphysical, astral projection, like you can meet up telepathically in this astral world, and so they have constructs over there where you're training as well. And so sometimes it can be in this kind of telepathic astral area, which can even be technologically enhanced. And then like how with this quote unquote looking glass technology, that can also do that kind of thing too, as well as once you're interfacing with it, it's going to kind of adapt to your mind. So like you might be operating a drone, but like it works easier for the operator that they see it as their body and they're trying to run. You know what I mean? And that kind of thing.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm not telling you that's how everyone's experience is. I'm just saying these are possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And because there was, and how I'd mentioned there was a difference between what seemed to be like the alien tech versus like the recreations, the Yellow Book and such. And so those things
go ahead. Finish that sentence.
Oh, I was going to say, because that can also sort of induce these other like hyper realities in a sense. And in that sense, especially when it relates to looking glass stuff, I can see how that could draw tangents to these other hypothetical timelines in the future kind of thing.
And mention what the looking glass is for people.
Yeah, it apparently it's some kind of recovered alien artifact or traded artifact where it allows you to kind of peer into potentialities, so like the different multiverse, you can kind of call it. And beyond that, it does seem like it has the ability to manipulate, reality or matter to some degree.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the same as the look? Is that the same as was it called the Yellow Cube?
The Yellow Book, yeah, very
Was it
similar.
the Yellow Book? Okay.
Yeah, it seems from my research, it seems like that Yellow Book is kind of like the recreation of like the artifacts they got, because there was definitely a difference. And like I mentioned, like the thing at Edwards was very high fidelity, very advanced, but then the stuff that was at like these different remote locations in like Buena Park over here, Los Alamitos, those had this yellowish or greenish tint to them and didn't seem quite as like high, like I said, high fidelity, high, clarity, and not as much ability to manipulate realities. Like at Edwards, oh yeah, that was about like affecting here and now, whether it was like seeing what we can get from other realities, or directly impacting something that's going on in this one.
Okay. Jim Daddy, now you probably have a lot of questions.
Well, he was saying some stuff that's very similar, actually. When you talked about the genetic markers and stuff like that. Originally at the Avery started that stuff. The Avery with Avery people. I think that was remote viewing mainly, and then I think it graduated. Anyway, when I met up for a guy named it's in the book. I might as well say his name, Kit Green. Yeah, and he was talking about the because I said, why me? Why you want me to go get testing at Stanford? Well, why would you want that?
Oh, after the incident, after Rendlesham?
Yeah, it's covered in the chapter 8 in the book. Yeah.
There you go.
Anyway, yeah.
Good job.
But he says that one of the things they were looking for is that this signature. Want to do MRIs, look for a signature. I think it's people that are more susceptible to this type of interdimensional, whatever you want to call it. So that was, I thought, was fascinating that he brought that up. But that was a civilian project. It was, I think it was funded by somebody in the federal government, obviously, but it was under Bigelow Industries, and I don't know if it's still in operation. As a matter of fact, that one guy, Jerry Nolan, he worked for him too. A few other people. But when you said that, it has familiarity as far as the military part. Yeah. But I think from what you're saying, there's some place there you got, military stuff, and they're trying to find out answers. Oh, and by the way, Kit Green says they're trying to find out state of origin. That's what they're trying to find out. It says that in the book. So I don't know about that. That's what he says. But then the other part of it, separate the military, but then you're saying that you have direct contact with like non-human then, or I'm a little confused there. I'm trying to separate them. I mean, they are separate, right? I guess that's the question.
Yeah, I guess they're separate and they cross paths, because now beyond just what happened at Edwards, right? Because and subsequently, like after I got out of doing a lot of the stuff over there, I kind of seen I honestly went back and looked like projection wise, and a couple other things like this, and I can see how there's definitely some kind of allegiances, and it did play into even my experiences in the programs, because at one point I was kind of used as bait. So when I would have a contact experience with some kind of extraterrestrial beings, it was almost like I was programmed to kind of act a certain way and kind of help basically steal what we could, like disable the ship or whatever. Using some kind of interface that I wasn't conscious of, but some part of me kind of knew how to do it then.
Interesting. Interesting. That's like familiar because you've done it before, right? I mean, that's what I'm picking up from it.
Well, because we were kind of trained on that, but we weren't told that's what it was too, because like that was part of like these quote unquote games that they recruited me to play. And so I could see how that works in together in hindsight, but at the time it's just this puzzling, terrifying experience. And you're just trying to get out alive, what you remember. And so and then like I said, that's where the intersection was. But then of course I had my own experiences outside of the programs with different NHI beings of all types, including like the pan-dimensional kind of entities and things like this, as well as ghosts and such. It's all they do kind of all meet in that sort of telepathic realm.
Yes, yeah, they do. That's for sure. What's NHI?
Non-human intelligence.
Oh, non-human intelligence. See, you know what I say, at least with my stuff, I say advanced entities. But you know what? They're not all advanced, are they? There's some that you want to get away from.
All relative, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. And so, and like with the Edward stuff with the looking glass technology, and this is where it seems to me that, from my experience, it does correlate with what people said, that we avoid some kind of catastrophe in the late 90s or something like this, because it did seem to me during that time that there was some of these non-human entities that were trying to instigate some kind of catastrophes. And this kind of gets into the gray story a little bit of like, these ones, they're almost like religious zealots, because they wanted to recreate their timeline here, kind of thing. It was kind of weird and convoluted, but like when I heard this kind of repeated back to me, like from other experiencers at different angles, I'm like, oh wow, that was what was going to happen. So it seems like there was some very valid concern during that time about this type of, I don't even know what you want to call it. It was some kind of manipulation that was going on.
Wow,
Jim, I'm gonna let you. I know you have more. I know you have more things to ask, Jim.
No, it's just like wow. I'm like wow, that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
No, I mean, do you fear going to bed? I mean, geez.
I've over the years now, I've come to grips with it. You know what I mean? But like, those who remember me, even from when I was young, like it doesn't happen anymore. But I'm sure there was times they remember me sitting straight up all night, and like, you sleeping? I'm like, not today, not today. Right. And yeah, like I can almost feel it. Like sometimes I'm like, no. If I lose conscious and there ain't a bunch of people around me, something bad's gonna happen. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was definitely part of my growing up. You know what I mean? And I also learned early, like, that you can't really talk about this stuff, or they put you in the hospital, they take you away.
Right.
And so yeah, I definitely learned to keep my mouth shut, and that's when, how I mentioned, was getting into my mid-20s is when it like a type of message you can kind of say different ways, like one through the telepathic channels, and the other through just weird occurrences that said, hey, you actually should talk, or else you're easy to have an accident. So
exactly, I agree with that.
Yeah, and so I started talking online at AboveTopSecret.com. was like the first place I started kind of really talking about my experiences.
What, the British site?
Was it British? I thought it was American. Okay.
It started out okay with Tim Good, but then I don't know. I stay away from it.
Yeah. This would have been like the early mid 2000s. Okay? Yeah. And so that's where, like, in a sense, I was kind of put to the test too, because like I was kind of saying this will happen, and people are like, oh really? Let's do this. And I'm like, all right, well, you have
I bet you got abused. No, I bet you got abused on that site. I bet you got abused. I bet you did. It's like they can't. They all think they know everybody on there, and they don't. I mean, there's some that are experiencers, but I don't know if that site's still up or not, but I bet you got just beat up with with the keyboard there on that.
Well, people tried, but like I would do stuff like like
Gary's pretty good about coming back, man.
Yeah, this one guy was giving me a bunch of crap, and I get like a download about who he is and what's going on. And I'm like, I know you're sitting there talking with your 3 little friends about like how cool you are and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, why are you even bringing them up? I'm like, well, you didn't either. I just did. So I'm like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I can see what you're doing in a sense.
He's really good.
And then likewise, I thwarted more than one cult over there too. Like, and this is why I found out that like like some of these ETs, like the quote unquote looshing thing, like there's a certain validity to it, and that there are these different entities who will kind of like bolster up like a ringleader and give them a little bit of power, so to speak, so they get a following, and and it was interesting. I was like, wow, these are the same ETs everyone's talking about. Wow. Okay.
You know what? There are people that get boosts. Are you all like, I might be going outside of what you all are saying because I'm also making sure we're on and all that kind of stuff. But are you all talking that some people can get a boost and they get this following even when they're giving misinformation and disinformation purposely? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And by who? Who was that? Who's doing that? Who's behind that?
Well, in this one particular instance that was pretty interesting. It was some Greys that were giving this guy like some telepathic powers and astral nimbleness, and yeah, it was like this straight, it was like Dungeons and Dragons cult. It was weird. Like, it was very strange. And now the people at Above Top Secret knew this was kind of an issue. And I'm just like, I'm kind of looking for trouble, honestly. Cause like, I'm coming out of, I'm trying to speak more about what I do and this and that. And people are like, oh, really? Then do it. I'm like, all right. And so when it came to these Greys and some of these things, I'm like, all right, let me get into these dudes and see what's up. And yeah, no, I went in there and they had some power because of these ETs. But I knew how to deal with Greys because of my training with the military. So I cut off his communication to them, and
I didn't know what you cut off. I was waiting to hear that. Oh, it's a communication.
Yeah,
okay.
And I can tell you the dream experience when I hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so now basically I'm going to sleep one night. And now a perfect night's rest for me is essentially floating in the void, conscious of my location in my bed. Like I'll be there for hours, almost like a meditative.
So you're just doing this number, like
if I can, right? Because
feeling like Homer Simpson. I'm getting a nap.
Okay, and so this is what I'm doing. And now one of my symbols for the Greys kind of like comes into my void, and I'm like, oh, you guys. Just go away.
Stop that. Leave me alone.
And it kept coming back. And so I'm like, I'm like, fine, let's do this. And so I got out of my body, I'm in my room, and like this staircase kind of forms outside, and I kind of just walk through walls into the staircase, and then it's like this stone arena, right? And I'm kind of like looking at this stone arena, and I'm kind of like, whoa, interesting. And then something hits me from behind. And now I'm in the middle of this arena, right? And I see it's like these big dinosaur, like reptilian looking things. And now I've done so many astral fights at this point. This is like nothing to me, right? I'm like slowing down time on them, and I can feel them pushing time back on me. So I'm like, this isn't just them.
I love it. You're putting time on them. I love it.
This is the Greys. This is them. I can tell. And so then I'm like, okay, let's do this then. So it's like these three, reptilian things trying to get me. So I'm like, oh, they're hitting me. Oh, I did. And then I just float out of that body, and I'm kind of hovering invisible above them. And then they start walking off. They're like, oh yeah, he thought he was so tough. We stopped. And then they changed into their human forms, which was these three guys. And then they're like, at least I could see but they're still, to them, they were still locked in that reptilian form. They're like, wait a minute, how come we haven't changed? They're like, he's still here. And I'm like, yep, I'm still here, guys. And you didn't do nothing to me.
I love it.
And so, but that gave me what the information I needed to know about their Grey connection. And then, so like I said, this is where like I can kind of tell in retrospect, I didn't really get away from the program. They just kind of let me find problems and probably just tracked me doing that.
Oh, that's cool. What do you think of that, Jim Daddy? There you go.
Fun. But yeah, that was one of these cults. And then shortly after that, like, because they couldn't do their dream connections with some of their people to kind of do weird stuff with for after that. for a good while, and that was long enough for these people to be like, wait a minute, this is a cult. You know what I mean? And left. So,
Man, that's some
yeah.
tough stuff. Just we got one question over here. This is AI Jane. Is the military complex creating sci-fi style super soldiers with CRISPR, meaning actively finding gene editing research for defense and performance uses?
I would say yes. I actually just wrote a blog article about, I believe his name is Dr. Morgan, who talked literally about using CRISPR to make soldiers like need less oxygen and all these things like that for, different rougher terrains and all that
What's
kind of
CRISPR?
stuff.
I'm sorry, I don't know what CRISPR
Oh, it's
is.
a gene editing technique.
Oh,
Where,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. There's one for, let's see, Scotty. Do any of your hosts have out-of-body experiences, or what traits and abilities have been unlocked since each of your journey began? So you know about Jerry's now. I don't even know about me. I mean, mine come when they want to come. I can't really try to do stuff. But, that's why I would get a hold of Gary or Jerry. Why do I keep saying Gary? There's something going on with a Gary out there right now. Whether it's Jim, one of your Gary friends. We both have like 6
Oh,
Gary friends, right?
I know.
So something's going on with one of our Garys, I can tell.
But his name's Jerry. We only got a few Jerrys.
Why? Yeah, I
Okay,
know.
so
There's we got a lot of Jerrys too, don't we? I know,
yeah.
you're right. We got a lot of Jims too. Only one Connie. Yeah. Okay. So sorry, girls' parents did that to you. I'm so sorry. But so my things, just happen whenever they happen, and when I recognize it. Now, what I notice with just being an abductee all my life is, if I go somewhere, things will come to me. I think like when I go up to the mountains and stuff, Jerry, and if I go to a haunted place or wherever I go, if some people say, hey, yeah, there's activity here or something, if I go, it ends up coming to me. And I think that's why. What do you think? Do you agree with that too, that things come to us just because they know we've been taken before, and is there like a mark on us, or they just kind of look at us and look through our files immediately. They just immediately know who we are, what we've done, what we're all about, and if we're taken or not. I mean, do you
Yeah.
think that too? Do you think that's why they come up and show themselves even to us and actually give contact and communication? The Bigfoot will talk telepathically, and they'll listen to you and respect you and do different things. I don't think they're the killers that some of those people say, but that does lead me to something though. A lot of people believe the super soldiers are the actual Bigfoot that were created. And I think that goes back to the Nazi stuff you were talking about. Or was that were they
maybe.
create? But I didn't think they created Bigfoot. I think they created something similar to it, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. Because there's a lot of esoteric research that went on and has been carried on for a while. But in terms of the communication, I think that it's kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg in that sense, because I think that once you've had the contact, it's almost like that telepathic channel is up, right? And I think those entities who understand how to use that can reach out like and do in that sense. And I've seen that too in subsequent work for myself. So like what you're describing is very familiar to me too. Let's say if I'm going to work with a client at their house or something like that, I'll tend to get communication from say like their spiritual team or something like that beforehand. And or passing through certain areas, you kind of get heads up sometimes, kind of things like that. And I think it's because once you have that perception, you're more likely to get communications through that channel.
All right. Well, you're with Jim and I right now, and Connie Willis Live, along with Jim Daddy. I don't think I say that in that, though, do I? I say Jim Penniston, don't I? Yeah, I say with Jim Penniston. Okay. I don't say Daddy. That's just what we've all called him on my Blue Rock show. So how do you see are you able to see if this YouTube channel is going to do good? If our channel is going to grow like we wanted to? Can you even see stuff like that? I'm just asking you out of the blue, just because you're here. do you see it gaining momentum so I can just do this and ads and then go buy a big mansion out in the woods somewhere in the forest and call it the Blue Rock Chateau? You don't know. You don't know my whole project. I'll tell you about that at one point. But
that sounds cool. And I mean, I don't see why not. To me, it's kind of like almost like an obvious question. Like I'm kind of like, really?
I
Like,
just want a good answer. I want the obvious answer.
absolutely, and I think that all of the groundwork you've been laying is going to add to that success, because this information that we're talking about is already becoming more mainstream.
Isn't it great, finally, that they care about us, finally?
And there's only so many reputable sources. Like that's the difficult part, right? And for like yourself and Jim too, like, you know, you've weeded through all the different stuff, or a lot of it now, and can tell a lot of what is sincere, you know, what's genuine.
You notice how he changed that, Jim? He said, "You all have already gone through a lot of it. Like there's more to go."
Because it's never ending.
There always is, exactly.
There's always new stuff, and you know, and for myself,
comes in out of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I knew even when I started coming to understanding a lot more about what went behind the scenes, like I knew I was new to it already. I mean, I just turned 48, right? So I'm still like a newbie here versus how long this has been going on.
Yeah.
And now, and so pretty lucky to be in this scenario where is becoming more mainstream. And so now for like yourselves, like especially, yeah, you're the rock stars in a sense, because
all right, bring it on, baby.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. And you know, just like anything, it's like you have to obviously have to work for it to some degree. Yeah. And yes, there's going to probably be people who probably play dirty tricks in between, but at the same time, you keep your momentum going. That's absolutely, because this is the time, really. I mean, we're at this nexus point of knowledge where, you know, be it ghosts, ETs, you know, clean energy technology, like everyone's seeing it for themselves. You know, and at their homes, in the garage, on vacation, wherever it is, they're seeing these things demonstrated in front of us. Like what are they hiding? Like, so at this point, like that, there's a floodgate that I think is about ready to burst a little bit. But it's not, I don't think it's going to be as any catastrophic thing. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. Like I've had some discussion with other colleagues that kind of call it somewhat like a gentle revolution. You know, because it's not because it's not necessarily about like, you know, overthrowing this or et cetera, et cetera. It's more about evolving and moving on what we already know. And so, like I said, this kind of loops us back to like who has the knowledge on things like extraterrestrials, you know, Sasquatch, ghosts, all this stuff like that. And we, even knowing that the government has been doing their own research, right? They can't do it all.
Who knows how much they know? Yeah. Who knows what they know?
Yeah.
How come I feel like I know if what I know, what I've seen, what I experience all the time, it's like, why am I going through all this and seeing all this? And then, you know, you can't question it. It's real, especially when you see it all the time. But I don't know. I can't even get to the question because it's like, you only really know if you're an experiencer, because if you're not an experiencer, you're really not seeing stuff and you're really not dealing with it. That's the last thing you care to deal with or even talk about, because all of a sudden you're a nut and you're crazy. So the only ones to me that even care about this stuff is because they've experienced something, even if it's one thing. Yeah. You know, they've experienced something. Everybody else is like, I got other things to do, you know, right? So do you all, you know, do you think the government, I don't care one way or the other if they know or not. I just know what I deal with and what I have to see and what I know. I don't think it matters. I don't have to have them tell me it's real. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But do you think that they're having interactions and stuff like, I think they're just learning too. I don't think these ET give a rat's booty if they're a part of our world or not. They just want to do what they want to do. That's what I see. Jerry, Jim, anybody?
Jump in, Jerry. She knows my thoughts. I'll bring them up.
But I want to hear your questions to Jerry, because I know you had some early on, so I was one too. Let me just. Go ahead.
Well, going back to what you said, you were dovetailing off of what Jerry said about. But I think the reason that they attract to you, I always say you're a magnet, you know, is because whenever this started, right, when you're a child or whenever, I think that's when they find you. And I think it's, it evolves. I mean, it might be a project for them. It might be this. I don't know. But I think it turns into like, oh, this is a person that we can communicate, mentally with or whatever. And I think that's why you draw them into you. I think that's part of it anyway. I don't know, Jerry. What's your thoughts? I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know
I think there's
about that. I was just trying to
definitely
expand on
more.
what Connie said, but I'm not a lifer, so yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
know what, Jerry? We call it that because Brett, Brett Oldham.
yeah.
Okay, so Brett started calling that. He's like, I'm not a
Oh, sorry.
contactee. I'm not excited about it. And I'm not an abductee. I mean, like, what can I do? What can I do about it? So it's like, well, I'm a lifer because there's nothing I can do about it. I like that. It's a much nicer name. So that's where lifer came from.
Yeah, I'd absolutely agree
Yeah.
too, Jim. Because I think there's a lot of facets to it, and I think there can also be those with just natural inclinations to that metaphysical contact too. But yeah, I do think that there's some of us, like especially from my interactions, working with myself and others on that spiritual level and coming to understand a little bit more of like that soul mechanics, I guess you can kind of call it. There's a lot of us that are here for specific roles, like very specific. And that's one of the things that I was eventually shown too. Like, there's a reason why I went through that. And there's a reason why I'm here for do what I'm doing, which is part of this movement that we're talking about in terms of even creating a place like my wife and I do at our foundation of like, for those who've had experiences, who do they go to talk about it?
Right.
Especially if, not everyone does have something like that, and we'll take them serious and, and try to help in some way, shape or form. And so then, especially when it gets to like how we're saying, being visited by stuff just because you have a natural inclination, that kind of thing. And I do, and to me, it does seem like how you hear from a lot of different experiencers of all type, be they from the government or not. There's so many branching and interweaving interests that I think are going on here. So I think that there's that some groups absolutely know a lot about some things. I mean, but once again, we're talking about the known universe, so they literally can't know everything, right? And that's kind of where it does come down to us experiencers, and that's why the military abduction phenomenon seems to be part of it. They're like, oh, they took that one, we got to now take that one too and find out what they know. And that was one of the things that would happen besides the desert and Edwards for me, is that when I did have contact that wasn't through them, I would find myself usually at one of these other facilities for some kind of interrogation. And they want to know what those aliens were doing and and so that was part of that too. And so like they obviously need data points, which the government by themselves like can only do so much, right?
Right. Exactly.
And even if they're dealing with these entities, like, which it seemed like there was, because I obviously seen like our humans working with greys, these reptilians, some of the mantis beings, all these other kind of weird things too that aren't really described.
I've seen some that I know a couple.
That's just, you're like, I don't know, this weird triangular fuzzy thing, I don't know what you call that. I mean, these weird things, right? And
the
so they
weird fuzzy triangle thing. That's what you call it.
Some of them,
almost it's almost a tribble, man, right?
Something, yeah. They have that's what made it for a long time. I'm like, that's real. You know what I mean? And it was a little mind blowing to me. But and like just to kind of tie the story together to me, what always kind of kept me wondering is because I've had a lot of precognitive dream experiences and such, and so some of these would tie into some of that stuff, and I'd be like, how is that? And then eventually the clues started adding up. But either way, it does seem like there's some people very much in the knowledge, and it seems to me that like these different contractors or these different companies know a lot more.
Yes, that's what I think. That's what I think too.
Yeah, and like even like when I would have vague recollections of kind of and seeing like who might have was kidnapping me essentially, like they wouldn't be wearing military stuff. It looked like what's it called? Private military gear. But they didn't have on insignias and stuff like that. But they let them just walk through the base, like walk through Edwards, wherever that. And which I.
But they look like people, right? They were people.
Yeah,
they did look.
Yeah, they were
human.
people. Okay. Yeah, and sometimes in some of those recollections, I would see we would lead past things that weren't human. I mean, and that was where like especially when I was younger, I would block a lot of that out. So that didn't necessarily come
Or they
to me
did.
till later. I could see why I did too, though, on some of these, because it was that frightening. Because that's one of the things that ultimately, like, I can talk pretty freely about this now. But for the longest times, I'd have a physiological reaction. You know, it's like I'd have these like this uncontrollable trembling, or just feel nauseous, or both. Right.
Well, that's what I tell people.
Jolts, you know?
That's what I tell people. I'm like, this is why they make you forget, because these are things that as a human, it's very hard to handle. I always just use the analogy of, okay, an animal in the forest that's never seen a human, and then they're caught in some trap, and they're just screaming at, there's a human, they're caught, they're scared to death, they're going to die, they're already hurt from whatever the trap did to them, and they're just freaking out. Now this human's coming at them, right? Like, the trauma that goes, that's like us. We're trapped, we're stuck, we're like, there's nothing we can do, we can't move. And these things are like, oh my gosh, they're not even supposed to exist. And they do, and they're right in front of us. And you can tell how advanced they are. I think that's the toughest thing for humans. We see how advanced these others are. Even if they don't talk, you see how much more intelligent they are than us, which is kind of crazy that you see that without even hearing anything, but it's true. But, you know, you're describing a lot of the things that Lynn Buchanan described. And I think whenever we talked a long time ago, I always brought up Lynn Buchanan a lot, because you would talk about things that, you know, I think I was just out of a lot of his classes and stuff too. But he would talk about places that he would go, push the elevator button and go deep, 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 deep down. He didn't know how deep he had to go, because he was a guy that would fix computers. So he would just have to go and fix computers, and he had top secret clearances and all this stuff. So he just go in and go, okay, what do I got to do? Go down that hall and take a left, 18 doors down or whatever. So he said he'd go down those hallways, and and they would say, don't look to the left or the right. They would literally say that. He's like, so, how do you do that when somebody tells you they shouldn't have told me? So he's like out of his peripheral, or if he happened to look over, he said he would see literally what looked like huge human-sized bugs working at a desk with like a pencil or pen in their hands. He said, I'm not kidding you. They look like bugs. But he would see things like, you described that same kind of thing.
Yeah, it seems surreal, and especially if you're like myself, I'm used to the dream world, so it's like, oh, it's a real thing. Like,
I'm
but
in a
at the
dream.
same time,
it's all this crazy, right? Is that what you mean?
Or for me, in terms of like even dealing with some of it, it was kind of easier to just like, okay, we know that's the other world. We're in this one right now. Let's deal with it right now.
That's right. That's what you got to think.
Yeah. But like how one of the weird things for me too, like how I said, I would wake up sometimes, I'd be like, there's no way I'm going to school. Like, no way.
Because you're bruised up and cut up, or what?
No, it's actually more the mental drain, because let's say like I thought I was going to sleep for the night, but it was like a week worth of time just went by for me in my perception of what I was just doing. And and then it'd be like, go to school, like, no, and I missed a lot of school, but the administration never messed with me. I could also pass like my classes without just going in and taking the test for the most part.
They make it easy. Whatever they want you for, they make it very easy for you to be in society where no one asks questions.
Yeah,
I've recognized that a lot.
Yeah, my junior high years, I think I missed like what accumulated to about a quarter of school. I mean,
you've been expelled, man.
Yeah, and no big deal. Let's keep going. Well,
let me ask a few questions, and then let me ask something real quick, and then let me go to the questions that are over here on the side. I have recognized along the way that if they take you, they're very good at anybody around you. Either they know how to affect that person, either just to leave them there, put their spell on them so they're out of it, take them with them, whatever they do. And if it affects, which I found this interesting myself, this is an experience I had. I was taken one time, and I missed an appointment, Okay, now this usually doesn't happen. They're pretty good. They don't let you miss appointments. They do it, bring you back in 30 seconds or whatever, and they've had you for 2 years if they want it. Right? It doesn't matter time for them, right? And when you come back, but they usually don't mess up your night and your next day. They usually don't do that. I missed an entire appointment, and there were 3 different people. One was a doctor, one was the assistant, and one was another one there. And they were all, I had an appointment. I was also going to have lunch with the other 2 women. I mean, everything about it was that they needed me. So everybody needed me for a reason to be there at that time. And I didn't make it. And it was because I was taken, and I couldn't believe it. This was when I knew David Jacobs, and I was like, David, my alarm went, it was right next to my head. Why didn't it go off? It did go off, Connie. You just weren't there. He had to convince me eventually. He's like, you weren't there. That's why you didn't hear it. I'm like, I have it snoozed. I should have gotten it. He's like, you weren't there. That's why. But the 3 people that I was supposed to connect with, hey, this is back when the doctors would say, hey, if you don't show up, you owe this much money. You have to pay for that hour's time. Nobody charged me. Nobody even called me to see if I was okay. I was like a long way away from them too. They could have thought, did Connie go off into a ditch? Is she okay? Let's see if she's okay. Normally they would do that. They didn't call. No one asked. No one questioned me. Nothing. I literally called them to say, I'm sorry I missed it. Oh, you did? Oh, we'll just do it again. It was as if I wasn't even on the record for that day. That is ET intervention around me. So you wonder how far, do they go in the layers of the onion there to protect what they're doing to where nobody knows, how far out. Maybe that was a very simple thing for them to do, but that is something that they did.
That's interesting.
It is interesting, isn't it? I'm like, wow, they're making sure no one else knows any of this. So let me get to some of these questions here. Are there Dreamtime super soldiers? That's kind of the same, isn't it?
It is kind of the same, yeah. Because there's definitely there's definitely agents who know what they're doing. Be they either officially affiliated with military or intelligence, or those who are like contracted. That does definitely exist.
Okay, all right. Have you ever been physically attacked, and by whom or what?
From the programs, or from in life in general? I've definitely been in some fights in my day, and then
world,
and then also because how you mentioned, Connie, of course I have my invention, the no Knox box, and yes, I was attacked because of that for sure. Yeah, that and then there was definitely, how I was mentioning, the warnings I got. Like one of the other warnings I got earlier in that sense was, and some other people might know what I'm talking about, when your car tries to drive itself where it shouldn't. That was happening to me. And we're talking like a stick shift 1991 Civic here. I mean, it's not something that can be electronically manipulated very easily. That was one of them.
I had a Honda Accord stick. I had a manual Honda Accord.
Those were fast cars.
I had a Del Sol. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, nice.
I know, it was cool.
But yeah, but I would say, for the most part, especially when I was getting out of the program stuff, once I really went public, it seemed like things were more just watching me than they were messing with me. Like I said, the more mortal danger didn't come until the oil industry didn't like me anymore. So,
we'll have to hear more about that. You know what, though? I found out, too, along the way, it does seem like there's a period where they are aggressively after you for whatever you're doing, whether it's your stuff, my stuff, and it just seems like it's constant. I think there's a time, maybe it's an age thing, I don't know. Maybe it's an age time. But there just seems like there's a time where there's a ton of activity where they're really pushing you and testing you in something. And then they tend to slow down at one point. And I think you're at the slowdown thing right now. I think I've gone through the slowdown. And it seems like they're just kind of watching you more. Yeah, I kind of feel what you just mentioned. Going back to who was asking about that, that's Jim Edward. He's our channeler. And he had said earlier, I just missed it because I went to the second question, but he said he's also a super soldier. He said, I've listed hundreds of such Dreamtime sabotage missions. So, yeah, he writes, he's an author. What do you have, 60 books out there right now? And he's had like over 1,000 premonitions come true. He's been asked by, who is it, Heidelbergs or Bilderbergs?
Bilderberg?
Like the elite, rich elite. He's, because of his premonitions and getting them right, if I get this right, Jim Edward, the other Jim, he had all these premonitions. And so these real rich, wealthy, elite people were inviting him into their clubs until he said until they found out I was poor, then they didn't. They let him go. But hey, you know, he should get paid for every premonition. You know, he gets right. That's what he should get. Scotty says, Jerry, were you put in any programs in school like GATE?
Now I wasn't in GATE. They did have GATE at my school at the time, but I was already well active by the time they started doing that in my elementary school. Because it was probably at least second grade. I had these memories of the desert, right? And so the GATE program testing didn't come to like the later, like 5th grade or something like that, I think it was for us. But that same year, that second grade year, they did fingerprint all of us in my school for some reason. And this would have been like, I guess this would have been like 83 or something like that, 82, 83. So pretty early in terms of the timeline for that kind of stuff. So that was one of the things that stuck out. And then also one of the things that also I always thought was kind of weird, for between my 3rd and 4th grade year, I went to summer school for some reason. Like I didn't do bad. I was, you know, in my school at all. And kind of like what a lot of people described in some of these different experiences had something going on with their GATE program, where there was definitely missing time from when I was there. Like, and you know, and there was, especially in this one computer class, it was kind of like, I remembered it. It was entertaining enough. And that was what made it kind of weird to me, because I wanted to remember it more, but like I couldn't. Right.
Yeah.
And so I did have that. And I remember many years later asking my parents, I'm like, hey, how come you guys sent me to summer school between 3rd and 4th grade year? They're like, what? We didn't do that. Like, yeah, you did. I guess it happened. I'm like, you would have had to have signed something for it. Like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, because my grandparents had to take me because it was the middle of the day. And my parents are good parents, right? They would remember this stuff. Like,
well, see, that goes back to what I was talking about, right? That was like me telling you, like nobody knew I was. Hey, why you're not even charging me for? Thank you for not charging me, but you're not even charging me for that.
Yeah, it was similar. Like, it was kind of odd to me like that too. Because usually my parents will remember. I'm sure they probably remember when I was vaccinated for what. You know what I mean? Like, so that was odd to me. Wow. I'm like, okay, I didn't press it. I'm just like, all right, and just kind of added that to my. That's weird.
And that happens too. We don't press it. It's like they say, you're not going to get anywhere with this, so just stop. Right? Because it happens all the time. I'll tell you something they did for me. One time. I was playing baseball. I was like the only girl in the baseball league for like 5-8 years, something like that, whatever. And at one point, you know, I'm a second baseman, man. Okay, just saying, I'm second base. But a lot of when you're a girl a long time ago playing ball and you're like the only girl, once in a while another one would kind of come in, but they never stuck around. I was always there. I was a second baseman. And what happened? You know, these little leagues, the father is a coach because his son is on the team and he's going to make sure his son plays. And even if the girl is better than the son, because they more than anything don't want to embarrass their son, they want their son in, and the girl's going to be on the bench, right? I mean, that happened too. Everybody knows that scenario. It's real. Those things happen. And I would sit the bench. Didn't matter how good I was. It was the fact that I was a girl. You're going to sit the bench because my son's going to play for you. I had that several times. Well, those same people would put me in the outfield. Okay, you can put me in the outfield. I can catch and I can throw it. So, I don't care. I like to play. But that's what they would do to me. Well, one time I was out in the field, and one of my best friends growing up was up to bat. He kills the ball. And he's my best friend. He's my best buddy in the world. So I see the ball coming to me and I'm thinking, well, I can run and get it and catch it. Or I can just let it bounce because I know how he hits. He hits hard. And I'm thinking, I'm just going to let it bounce and I'll catch it and I'll throw it in. He'll get to first base, right? Okay, so that's what I'm thinking. I kid you not. That's what I was going to do. I literally, you know how the ball goes like this? Okay, like here's my hand to catch it. Here's my mitt. Here's the ball. So the mitt should go, like, or the ball should fly down and go right into my mitt, right? I'm going to let it bounce, right? So it's going to do this number, go down, and then I'm going to be getting it this way because it's going to bounce and it's going to go up, right? So I'm going to catch it like that. So I'm just waiting for it to bounce. I kid you not, right where it should have got to where it should go down, it went, boom, and it went this way for about 3 feet or maybe 4 because I allowed room for it to bounce and come up. No, it came this way going down and then it went like this to go into my glove and it went right in my glove. And even I went, what? It wasn't like, what? I can't believe I caught a ball. It wasn't like that because I could catch a ball. It wasn't like that. It was, what just happened? Because that ball was going down to bounce and it ended up going straight after it arced and then it went straight about 4 feet to get into my glove. I saw it. It's as though they grabbed it and went and put it into my mitt. And I was like, did that just happen? Everybody's cheering and the dad, is going, Connie, that was Paul's best hit all year and you caught it. I was like, I wasn't going to. They did that for me. I saw it with my own eyes. I was so far back from everybody else. I don't think anybody else's angle would have seen that it did that, but I saw it. Isn't that something?
That is.
I know it's little and minuscule, but that's what some people are asking about experiencers and things that you experience. Hey, you can go up to a red light and you'll hear a voice tell you to go left instead of right, just to get somewhere on time. These are the things that happen that they're not like Moses and the burning bush. Like a lot of people think if you're an experiencer, you're going to have all these things happen and it's going to be crazy, huge. No, it's really not. I mean, they'll tell you simple little things. At least I get that. Do you get the same thing? Like you'll get stuff like that? Like watch out for this. Don't go down that alley. Don't,
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
kill the bird.
And you have to, and it's good to train that because it's like the cheat codes. Like, I've heard that mentioned on some popular podcasts recently about even having apprehensions of getting out of body. Like, why would you want to do that? It's like being dead. Well, because you can see more out of your body. You can kind of see into potentialities and make more informed decisions. You know what I mean? Yes. So that there's, and so same goes for just a general intuition. That's one of the things, like when I do coaching and classes and such, this is one of the things I talk about in terms of getting in touch with your higher self first, and then working with your spiritual guidance who know you beyond here, and doing ways to verify that they're actually who they are. You know what I mean? Evidentiary things, and this is where those kind of experience come up, because then if it's at will on purpose, then you're not guessing as much. Like when you can say, leave me a penny in the middle of my desk that wasn't there, and then it just magically appears.
Yeah,
like,
I've had that. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now I can't find this. Oh, here it is. I love that. How do you know if it's how do you know if it's not a guardian angel versus an alien?
Well, they could be one and the same. It's could be very metaphorical in that regards. And it can also, and some of these, and a lot of, okay, if they're your friends, they're not going to want to be jarring to you. So if it's easier for you to see them as an angel, they may very well appear as that kind of thing. So that's part of our own like physiology, honestly, because beyond here, like, and Earth, like they've never heard of anything we talk about here spiritually on other planets. Okay. But there's certain joining factors, like the concept of identity that persists in these higher dimensions and can branch down. And so those kind of things are what if we get in contact with them, this is where our mutual collaborators, our co-creators from these higher dimensions, you'll see these are what I would call our guides. And so when we have that mutual interest, and especially when you're in contact with that higher self, and when I talk about higher self, it's like, okay, there's you, and then there's creation, and then there's nothing in between, right? So you can call all of creation God, whatever you want to call it. There's nothing in between there. So you want to have that direct communication with you and the spark of everything, because it exists. You know what I mean? I think a lot of us talk about this in our own ways. And so from there, it gives you more of your own internal compass to then, establish the communication with some of these friends who've been with you in more than one lifetime. And it is kind of like the cheat codes. And yeah, it's those voices that tell you stop, and then you avoid catastrophe, whatever it is.
Yeah, that voice is heard a lot. It is often there. So Erica asked, is the word experiencer used only for aliens, UFOs, or can it be used for other cryptids and things? I think if you experience anything that's not supposed to exist, I think you're an experiencer. But it does. I would tell people, well, I've seen this or that. I'd tell them what kind of experiencer you are, because I think for the most part, people think an experiencer is an alien abductee. But I think the Bigfoot might be able to do those things. So, Jim, you have any? We're like going at it pretty quick. But what do you think? What are your thoughts here? What are your questions?
My thoughts are, I don't know enough about the subject, man. I mean, there's certain things I just didn't understand. I mean, like, even simple terms like gate. What is a gate? I don't know what that means. I mean, I have no idea. When the third grade and you know gate program, I don't know what the hell that is.
That was like a more special, right? Was it a little smarter? Is that what?
But there's just things like that. Well, obviously I wasn't in it, but there's this thing that I wonder what is he talking about. I think it might be an age difference here.
Yeah, because I think
I kindergarten. We didn't have that.
Yeah, it's gifted and talented education, I believe, is what the acronym was.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
And it did come around relatively later. I don't remember specifically, but I want to say it was like 79 or something. It started or something like this. So
I was on my fourth base by then.
Yeah, exactly. So I came around a little later. I found out about
but
this.
There's other terms like that. So you're over my head on this stuff, so I'm listening attentively. I want to hear what you got to say. It's fascinating. I mean, but there's certain things I don't understand. I know one thing. I'm going to go to your website. Okay.
Great.
I will.
Does your website teach you much though, like that, Jerry?
Because we reorganized, right? So for the longest time, essentially, it was an online metaphysical store. We kind of branded and reorganized as a nonprofit that looks into the research and other things as well. So it's kind of new right now, still renewed right now, and so there'll be definitely more information as time goes on. It kind of just takes time to build that. But
you got your books on there?
I'm working on the books too. Like that's
okay. Okay, well, that's really what I probably want to look at. Grab a copy of one of them, and I'm sure you'll recommend your latest book, right? That'll be the one.
It's going to be the first. It's going to be the first. But
okay,
he's first.
You're going to love being an author. You'll love that. That's great. No, that is great. You be able to put all those thoughts down. And everything, experiences, everything else in on paper. It's wonderful. Yeah.
So what do you think though, Jim? What are you like? Why would they have? These are the normal questions that people have. Why are they training these people? Why would they not just have all military soldiers do that? Why are there normal people? Again, I think that goes back to, you're an abductee or you're not, and they pull you in it or they don't.
Right.
But I know you had some of those questions, like why would?
No, I don't think it has anything to do with the military. I think it has to do with what you said just there. I think it's just the right
what
people,
they do.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the military is just. I don't know what it is. That's just a cloud somewhere. I mean, first of all, the military don't know nothing. Okay, the military don't really know anything. The government don't. Otherwise, why are they always asking questions? why are they always interviewing people that have sightings or have experiences or whatever? Why
Because
are they
that's what
doing that?
happened with you, right? I mean, it's after you saw what you saw, they came to you, right, NSA?
Yeah,
Who
I
came to
mean,
you?
it goes back to what actually Jerry was saying for safety. Uh, for 13 years, of course, it was top secret, national defense, blah 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 blah. You know, they had me shut up, uh, which is fine. But then I got released from it when I retired 13 years later. Nothing happened, so therefore nothing classified. You know, and I was being bothered. I mean, I got to the point where I had my home bugged. I mean, I have horror stories to tell you about that.
Wow.
And so I was talking to a confidant, another military guy, officer, and he says, "Go public." I said, "What?" He says, "Go public on it. Start talking." He says, "You go public, that's safety." And that's
Why is
exactly what
that?
you were saying earlier. Well, what are you going to do anything if you're in plain sight? Come on now, you
Well,
know.
but you get the abuse from everybody else in the world.
They're not trying to
Well, you
kill you.
do.
Like
Well,
it's
Yeah, I guess so. Well, some
well,
of
I've
them,
never
I
had
don't
that.
know.
No one's ever threatened me. I mean, I don't
mhm.
believe it. None of that. Okay, the government don't threaten you. I mean, not with bullets and stuff like that. But you know, other entities might. I don't know about that, but I know the government doesn't.
But
So
Jim, you
that's
went
just not in
from
our. So,
so Jim went from not believing any of this, not knowing anything about it, not even thinking about it, and then all of a sudden one day
right.
he's looking for plane and people carnage, like a flight, a plane that went down, and nope, it's a UFO. So Jim touches it, manhandles it, does all this stuff, feels it. He's got a photographic memory too, Jerry. So he remembers all this, everything that he felt that was embossed. He wrote down all
That's
the
why I'm going
signals.
back to back questions on it. Well, those questions are still gnawing on me from earlier in the
Yeah, I'm sure,
story.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, this is all good. But then instantly you're here. You're in the UFO world, you're in the alien world instantly. You got this. Then you get this binary code. You get what is now the Penniston code in you, and now people are really loving it with the AI.
So,
Jerry's got to take a look at that. Jerry's got to get it. He's got to figure it out because Jerry, you probably throw in
well,
something really good
what's
there.
really interesting about that is
Learning
we
that.
actually have proof it's from the future. Proof, solid evidence it's from the future. So that's something for you to look at.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
Would you
that
be?
seems to be
Is that
fun.
something you'd like to look at, Jerry? Would you?
Oh
Have you
yeah,
seen it?
absolutely.
Okay.
I think a lot of us have been postulating this concept of communication through time, and on my own line of research, I was looking into this, and I definitely got into it. Actually, during that time, I was reflecting on my experiences and trying to find the reality of it, and saying, is this the same lucid dreaming and astral projection that everyone's talking about? And
Right.
trying some of those techniques, knowing
Mhm.
Jungian psychology very well by this point, I ran into my future self, and I was
Oh,
like, and
wow.
yeah, and
Did you go? Hey, I'm looking pretty hot. All right, this is cool.
I was looking. I look. It makes sense,
You're
yes,
looking
because
pretty
like
good.
yeah, and some things like how I got this sense that I was sort of quote unquote rebuilt somehow,
Oh.
and I can kind of see that because I've had to rebuild my shoulder and some other stuff.
Oh.
Um, but yeah, it was an interesting crossroads because like how I my future self actually was almost like um eyeing me like kind of like it was watching over an area that I was in, and then didn't
Ah,
recognize me either, and then
Wow.
came at me in this way that I have never seen anything advance on me before. Like this is one of the few times I thought I was actually going to die in a dream, right?
By
And
wow.
yourself. You were going to commit
yeah,
suicide. Your
I
future
was like,
man
well,
was going to
yeah,
kill.
yes, and I just put up like my shield, and I'm just like, and then nothing attacked, and then when I looked, and I saw an older version of me, and I was like, whoa, and it took older me a second to realize it was younger me, and then when he did, he's like, oh wow, and then kind of straightened up, and then like telepathically we're talking, and I'm like, well, you're the older one, like, tell me something,
Yeah.
right?
What do I
and he
do?
just and he just says you're on the right path, and then just like
Yeah.
took off.
Wow.
and
Wow.
and I remember thinking, I'm like, okay, future Jerry there was looking very aggressive, and knew how to do stuff that I don't know how to do. So whatever he's looking for, I don't want to run into right now. I'm going to wake up now. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah, you know, the other interesting thing, Jerry, is I like it when you. I stopped using the word about time. I just dropped that because people don't really understand what I'm talking about. They think, oh, time travel, H.G. Wells, you know, Hollywood, all that stuff. But really, what it is what you've been talking about. It's a interdimensional type travel, and that's I'm in your court on that one there because that's what I believe it is. Does it affect time space? Oh, obviously, you know, at least from my experience, it does. And it sounds like from yours. So, yeah, if you start talking about time travel and people go, oh, yeah, this is not H.G. Wells. This is not a Hollywood movie. That's Hollywood, you know. But it is interdimensional travel, and or the astral whatever travel that could be. You know, I don't know. It's I'm open minded to that because I think it's more likely that than not. You know, and then talking, you know, listen to you here. Hey, it's just so much detail. You have absolute detail about all this, so that's convincing.
That's why Jerry's been on. That's why. Like, it's always like, Jerry, come in, just talk. I don't even know what to ask you now because
I know. I just let him talk. That's what I was thinking. Just let him talk.
I do the same thing, man.
Let
him go. Shut up, everybody. Leave him. Let him just go. Let him just go.
I bet he's got 100 of these stories too. You know, from his experiences and stuff. You know.
I do tell. Because like I said, I did realize that people just woke up on the other side of the dream world until I think I was like 12 years old or something like that. That
yeah, that's true.
And so I've been doing it, and like how I didn't really think that I was talking to like even these like entities that people would call deities. I'm like, oh, you're this. I'm like, oh, I don't care. And I kind of keep going about my business. I wouldn't because I got, especially because of the programs too. They taught me don't trust anything. Right.
so somebody was teaching you then. Somebody was teaching you, but it was all telepathic. When you're there,
well, no, there was actual conversations in some of these realms. It was like almost like us talking, but very consciously in the either altered state or like in the telepathic realms or things like this, right?
Was it all alien that you talked with, or was it human and
humans? Yeah, it was mostly human. In terms of the training part, like until we got to the technology. So like how the story goes, like I met this coach, quote unquote, who approached me in the astrals, because what I used to do when I was young, I would recreate the video games in my dreams so I can keep playing them while I was asleep. And this older guy came up to me and was like, awesome. I see you like to play games. Are you interested in playing some new games? I'm like, okay, sure. I'm a kid, right? And
is it free? So, is it a quarter?
Yeah.
Is it free?
well, that was the thing, because I could tell this person was aware, because it was aware what I was doing, and it was aware that I was already even kind of like, oh, really? What are you talking about?
Oh,
I mean, I was just gonna, and so, like I said, it started out very like kind of like more advanced versions of the arcade games at the time, right? And then it progressed to this thing that was just like beyond sci-fi. But at that whole time, that there was that coach there, and then depending on what we were doing, we were absolutely instructed by, it seemed like either like another voice, almost like a radio, or there'd be some other kind of characters there that was with us, like it would be about the same age, who are all being taught, let's say, how to reorientate yourself after going past the jump in a threshold. You know what I mean? So you're in one world, you're in another one, and then come back. You know what I mean? And just get your orientation. And then eventually it turned into like combat, sparring event, stuff like that. And got more and more advanced. But yes, there was absolutely training on stuff, and including like some of the astral maneuvering and fighting and stuff like that. And that's kind of where like some of us passed and some of us didn't, because you just literally couldn't outthink someone over there. And so that's who was allowed to progress for me.
So Jim Edwards asked, because he he's the one that also said, I'm a super soldier too. He said that he had a lot of schooling dreams. Did you have a lot of? It sounds like you did. Sounds like you did.
Yeah, there's definitely times we're kind of out of school, and then sometimes those entities would be different. Like sometimes it wouldn't always be taught by a human in some of those classes.
Now that's interesting. That's interesting though, because even when I was doing my work with David M. Jacobs, you know who David Jacobs is, right? You know Jerry. Okay, so I was doing a lot with him, and he was regressing me a lot. And at one point too, he was talking about schools for us as well. That a lot of people would talk about. They would mention what the schools look like, and there were like tables and desks and things like that. There were literal schools that they would take us to. I remember a couple of those along the way, but I don't have the memory like you. I got to be regressed. There's sometimes I might pick up something and remember something, but not, you have a photographic memory too, right, Jerry? Pretty much.
I mean, more or less, it's pretty good. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm like textbook photographic in the sense that if I can, like, if you flash a page in front of me, I actually probably can pick up a good amount of it, but I wouldn't be like constantly, oh yeah, I know everything on the page, but I absolutely can't flash.
Well, that's where Jim was able to put those symbols, write them out the way they are, and also get that Penniston code, right? When did you throw out the ones and zeros, Jim? Was it within 12 hours of the event or 24?
I couldn't go to sleep. It was like,
Wow.
It was overwhelming me.
That's amazing.
And it was like 8 pages of ones and zeros, right? It was like a lot.
It was a small notebook.
Yeah, but still, I mean, a lot of ones and zeros.
16 pages.
16
but it was
pages.
small. It was small.
Isn't that impressive? I know, right?
Yes.
Small.
Yeah, I know. I thought that.
Don't ever do that at a bar, okay, Jim? Don't be going, yeah, it's small. No, don't do that at a bar, okay? Just don't do it from afar. It doesn't look nice. It may not get you a drink. I don't know. But anyway, you don't do that as small. No, don't do that. Just saying. Go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry. Here's some more questions otherwise.
Yeah, let's have more questions. I mean, they can listen to me any day.
We love listening to Jim.
No, I want to hear what he has to say, Connie.
So Erica says, this is us. This is us. This is how we are, Jerry. You see it continuing for the rest of our life. We're happy about it.
Great.
Yeah.
She's gonna win because if she wants to go to the question, she's a host.
I'm just going to push this button and drop you down.
So, that's right. So,
Jim Edward asked, "Do you think the aliens chose you because of your memory?" I think maybe that's why you have the memory.
Well, for me, I know it has a lot to do with what I'm here to do in relation to be like a conduit and sharing this information that has to come from, you can call it hyperdimensional sources, whatever it is. And that's part of me that came here with that ability and specifically to do what I did. I mean, you can kind of look at that from a shamanistic point of view. Everything happens as it's supposed to. And so you can kind of see it in my family bloodline. I'm mostly Native American blood. The other big majority of my blood is from Basque.
From what?
And from Basque. So
what's Basque? What's Basque?
Oh, Basque it's mostly Spain, but also close from Mediterranean. And now interesting with the Basque heritage, like they're one of the cultures that actually said that then maintained that we came from Atlantis or whatever the other place was before civilization, this current civilization. And so in like my family, like, and it was funny because like my wife, right? Like she's like, how come you guys as a family don't necessarily greet each other like everyone else? Like, I'm like, do you see us do this? Like, she's like, yeah. I'm like, that's the Native American thing. Like,
that's a huge hello. That means you're incredible.
It's like this telepathy, but we don't really call it that, right? Yeah. It's like there's a high level of empathy that we just kind of know we're by each other and we acknowledge each other, and it's like there's more information that kind of gets passed there. And that's just inherent in our culture. And I didn't even realize it till like later on in life. I'm like, we are very Native. It's just like,
That's funny. I can see it. I can
yeah.
see it. So
But
going,
there's things like that. Yeah. And my dad actually is a very vivid dreamer too. Like he had always talked about having very vivid dreams himself. And then as time went on, he would talk about some of his experiences, and I tell him like those probably aren't just dreams. Those are probably, recollections from other places, other times. Yeah.
Jim does that too. Jim, all your dreams. What do you?
I know it's yeah.
Ask him, man.
I do the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't do it. Did you do it before the event? Did you have these dreams? It was only after the event.
Well, if I did, there must have been better dreams. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, nothing that bothered you now.
Right.
So he has those.
Yeah, the vivid. I don't know. It's sort of. I got an open mind about it, but I sort of tend to like the theory that Connie has, that we've been manipulated at some point in time, genetically or whatever. And what do you call that, Connie? There's a term.
Hybridization project.
Yes, that project. Yeah. And I think that is implanted by maybe from that part of the Mediterranean, maybe from this tribe. Who knows? Individuals of that, whatever. And I think that's why we have the likelihood or the ability to experience this stuff. We're prone to it. And I don't know. There might be a mission for them. I don't know. I don't know what the mission is.
I think this is the mission.
I don't know. Really, see, you're telling me things I don't know. Yeah,
who knows?
So I got an open mind.
We literally call it the hybridization project.
I don't know what the missions are, but they got a lot of them apparently. Okay.
I'm in like a plain Jane vanilla one compared to Jerry's, man. His is like he goes and takes on dragons and stuff, man.
This is true.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I've been in some weird places, but I have to say, like, even though like I've definitely been in some like Marvel movie kind of things, it's still kind of scary.
Yes,
I mean, it's like
you're a comic book character, man.
and like how I was mentioning too, when it comes to some of these dreams, especially when you can tell they're not your own mind, right? It's not about something you're just reprocessing from the day, and you're having these spontaneous experiences that seem like these amazing movies, right? Like more than likely, if it doesn't apply to something going on right now, it's probably from another lifetime. Right? And like how I mentioned, like if emergent intelligence was the model, right? If we just come from matter coming together, why do we have these recollections of other places that we've never been?
No,
like, so it would just it would be nothing there. We would just be like, this is it.
Great question.
So so this is why one of the things I tell people,
maybe we've been in a long time. Like we've been in life for a long time. There got to be some people. You got to start somewhere, right? So there might be some people that have nothing.
Yeah, I'm sure it exists on some of them. Yeah,
I guess so.
You can theorize in the propagation of that. Let's say if there's an inception from the source, right? So that source is timeless. So that means from the moment is incepted, that means all potentialities have also been incepted. So it's like in a sense it's instantaneous, like creation. So and this is kind of one of the things that I say about if something stops existing, like we wouldn't know it anyways. So
that's right.
This is
and what if this is just a ride? What if this is just like we got all these other things going on somewhere else. This is just we're at the carnival and we're taking planet Earth ticket, right? We're just doing this right. Yeah. We're like a Disney World, right?
I call it Camp Human, because it on that higher dimension, it all looks fun from like that ninth dimension where it's like you're right next to God with everyone else and like, look at this creation we're doing. Oh, I'm gonna go experience it right now. Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. Then you jump down. Oh my God, it's hot.
We forgot.
I have to eat. And the things get old, and oh wow! And then you. I
should have read the reviews, man. I should have read the reviews.
And then you come back, you're like, "This is all the fun and friends with my friends we had. It wasn't that great."
Hey, we watched what you did with that, blah blah blah. Oh, you saw that? Yeah, we saw it.
Yeah,
you thought you were being cool about it.
because it does seem like that way to me. Like, and from my travels and interacting with different entities, and including like people who have passed, you know what I mean? And then and having some of these protrusions in through, like you can say, the later Jerry or like the eternal version of myself, and kind of seeing that, yeah, and then you hear this kind of being echoed in different ways from different angles. You know what I mean? Different spiritualities, even science, like the way they kind of describe these higher dimensions or emergent time or these kind of things. It's like the almost exact same mechanics that I've seen, you know, from projecting or from like the looking glass, all these other things, because you would see like all the potentials that happen with this conceptual construct. So like the us exists with a certain event horizon of what we think we are, especially as a human. And then there's another event horizon that goes beyond that. Right. And so at one point you get to these higher dimensions, which you hear echoed in a lot of spiritual teachings and that's kind of where you keep hearing 10th, 11th dimension, you know, 11th being kind of like God, you know, and stuff like that. It seems, from my experience, it seems like very much in accord with this kind of concept.
Interesting. I've had those vivid ones myself, but not like you guys. And Jim all the time. I mean, he lives them and can't get them. Do you have any advice for someone that keeps getting them and they're like, I can't handle this. I'm not getting rest. I'm not.
That's the main thing. Yeah, you want rest. You want to be able to rest some, you know. It's just.
Any thoughts, Jerry?
Any thoughts, Jerry? Well,
I'm in Denver. Should he have gummies? What should he be sent? It's easy here in Colorado to get those things. Here's a question from Erica Stover. Travel, to me, time travel is traveling forward or backwards in the same dimension timeline versus whereas dimensions is another different timeline. What do y'all think?
I don't think so. I think time, if you want to use time travel, that term, which I don't like using, if you want to use it, I think we occupy the same space. It's the same point, but some's in the future, some's in the past, some's on the side. It's dimensional, you know.
Yeah, it's sides perpendicular.
Yeah, I don't think it's like going forward and going back. That's just too.
That's us on Earth.
That's 21st century thinking.
Well, that's all we are, though. We can only go forward. That's it. That's all we got on this planet.
I don't know.
Yeah,
unless we're doing some of the other things that we do, you know, like people with experiencers, you know.
Well, even these ones and zeros could be a demonstration of some kind of nonlinear influence here. And yes, I would agree, Jim, that bio rights and purposes, like how we're talking about the event horizon of definition of these things, that means all potentialities of time happen within that relative kind of like sphere looking thing, kind of, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
And so,
hey, y'all, listen, I get that, but humans are just like, I'm just going forward. I go tomorrow, the next day, and the next day. Nobody, you know, for the most part, I don't think they're thinking about this stuff.
No.
Yeah. Well,
that's my only point. Yeah. But I'm with you all. I'm a remote viewer, man. We can go anywhere.
Okay.
And this is where there's that popular video and book, Imagining the 10 Dimensions, right? And this is where like that
10?
Yeah, and it's like where they talk about this concept in the sense of visualizing what it'd be to kind of, you know, change the timelines. And now in that regard, it's kind of like they're saying you can't necessarily go back and change the one where something never happened, but if you go back, it's a different timeline that then kind of arcs relatively different way. And now you don't necessarily have to go back to change the thing. Like they actually gave an example of inventing something when you're young. Let's say you can't go back and invent it when you're young, but you can go back and find out what that is and then invent it now. Right?
Nice.
That can splinter off. And these things are easier to do in the sense of the like actual application of this concept versus trying to change your past. Like you don't necessarily have to change the past. It's all kind of contemporary
that makes
right
sense.
now. Yeah, and like how and honestly, I think this is kind of why I stumbled onto even with my invention, because I can see like how I ended up where I'm at still, you know, when I was young, but there's this invention now, and like there's, like I said, hasn't been an easy path, but it makes a lot of sense relative to even what I was trying to accomplish with my goals, knowing that I was onto something, you know what I mean? And when that
Can you
expressed, I think that was eventuality.
tell everybody what your invention is?
Sure. It's a type of composite material. Let me see. I have a piece of it right here.
Oh, I just happen to have it here with me. Yes, of course, Connie. I'll show it.
Well, it's a raw piece. This is for experiments and such. But it's a composite material here, and what it's made up of resin, minerals, and different types of metals. So conductive, non-conductive metals, some with magnetic properties, and then it's bombarded with certain frequencies that cohere it, right? And then so from there, if you get this piece of plastic close to a combustion engine, it'll start running more efficiently. And we've had this lab tested by accredited labs, numerous third-party companies, all these other things like that. So we know it works, and it'll save anywhere from like 7 to like 25% on fuel. It'll knock your nitric oxides out of your exhaust by a good 50%, if not more. Wow. And it's all through the electromagnetic interaction of the field generated by the engine. And so this was a culmination of research from seeing some, people were messing around with the concept of organite, and I had seen some that actually would generate a field, and I'm kind of, that's interesting. I'd measure it with, different fields, EMF meter or even voltmeters, which they shouldn't be giving off anything on these things, but you get a little like, oh, what was that? And then also the concept of radionics. So like we had seen the cause and effects of the Royal Rife machines and all these other stuff. So combining those two with some more specific frequencies that align for efficient combustion, I was hoping to see, like I said, slightly better than chance change or something like this. And like I said, we saw 25, 50%, 75% NOx reduction, this, 20, 30% gas savings. and like I said, I was definitely not one of the people who was like, we're gonna go disrupt the industry. Like, no, I literally had a meeting with a very prominent person in the auto industry and posed the question to me. Like, I can see how this can go two ways. Some people say this got to be everywhere, and some would say we need to put this on the shelf. He's like, what would you say to someone who wanted to put on the shelf? And I'm like, well, I'm assuming this might be like auto industry, parts industry, oil. And I'm like, to them, I'd probably take their advice, because they've been in it for decades, centuries. Like, I'm not a person from that kind of family. I didn't do it, so I wouldn't know what's best for the industry. So if you're telling me that this might not be good, I'm absolutely going to listen to it. And this sinister grin went over the guy's face, right? And if I was being sincere, yeah, because I don't know. And like how I tell people, like, yeah, this is new, so I don't know what happens in 10 years. Now we know what happens in 10 years. Like, it still works, and there's nothing bad happens. But then not so much. So I didn't try to overplay anything. I didn't try to come off cocky about anything. Right. But like how I found out some people just don't want to take a chance. And but I did end up partnering up with my partner. Actually has a hydrogen producing company, and so they have an association with like the nuclear energy people and everything, so they're cool with them. And even our lawyer who did our patent actually managed Boeing's portfolio for 7 years. Wow. And it was pretty interesting conversation I had with him, because like when I first met him, he's like, I think I know how this works here. It has to do with electromagnetic field, and he even said something to the effect of like, we've seen this happen with materials that don't come from here.
Interesting.
And he said how like a lot of the universities have these pieces of this. And he said also stuff that they use to block signals. So I'm guessing like skiffs and stuff like that probably use some kind of composite material as well that does this kind of thing. I had some pretty fun conversations with him. Like I remember one time, because we're theorizing what could be going on here. And so this is definitely electromagnetic interaction. And so when we're talking about like EM fields, we're kind of talking about the fabric of reality. So and there is a density factor to like the efficacy of the material. So I was kind of like, what I was hypothesizing about gravity waves and that kind of frequency. And so either way, like a little bit later, he's talking about a patent that talked about gravity manipulation with 3 different arrays, that if you pointed 2 of them one way and 1 of them the other way, it can move laterally this way. But if you point them all 3 this way, it goes at superliminal flight. And I mean, he basically just described Bob Lazar's anti-gravity system to me as a patent. Okay. um, and I'm like, huh? Like, does he know that he's described? He has to know that he's telling me Bob Lazar's thing. You know.
Wow. What do
So
you
yeah,
know about that, Jim? Anything? Do you know anything about Lazar stuff, or did you ever meet him or anything?
No, I had some communication with him a long time ago. Not really
Uh-huh.
though.
Okay.
No, I know he's got a lot of. He's got 2 documentaries out, new ones. I know that. I'm not going to watch them. I mean, but they're out. Yeah, I suppose
What do you
someone can
think?
watch them.
What do you think of his stuff? I've always thought he was real. What do you think?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Why do you say that?
He's not consistent. He can't prove anything. He can't even prove his education. I mean, come on. You know.
See, I don't go with that one because, like, with the education, they can easily pull files out.
they did that to Gresh recently too, didn't they? Like they
Yeah, well,
released his.
like
his
if you work at Alamos, at the nuclear place, I don't care if you're a janitor.
Oh, is that where he went? I don't know much about his
Yeah,
back history, but to me, he
yeah,
always came across credible.
you got a paper trail a mile long. Okay, I mean, you got
Uh,
398s that were done for your background investigation. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It's just
so you
too
don't
much.
think his stuff
You
is
don't
the
have
real
that.
deal?
You don't
You
have
don't
a
think
Q
his stuff
clearance
is the real
for.
deal?
I don't. I am very suspect of it all. First of all, he
Okay.
doesn't even call the area what it's called. That's the other thing. Right, Nellis Air Force Base, the area. What he calls it? What calls it? Something else.
S4.
It's Site Alpha. That's what
Mm.
it is. But he didn't know that. Well, everybody that worked there knows that. I mean, there's just stuff that's inconsistent. Now, do I believe it? Anything's possible, but no, I'm not in his camp on it. No, I just the proofs. He has to prove it to me. I mean, I don't need limited
Yeah,
people. Yeah,
he's not worried about doing that though. But so,
no,
Jerry, what do you think? You're 100% with Lazar.
Well, I'm not on. I mean, it's hard to be 100% because, like I said, I wasn't there. I mean, it seems kind of elaborate to me to what end, and if it is some kind of, if he represents some kind of contrived story, that was on purpose. Like so, kind
correct.
of like
I
you're
agree
like
with that.
I
I
can
just
agree
saw
agree
with
with
like
that.
that. I can agree
yeah,
with
so
that.
because like how Richard Doty was just on. I saw one of his recent things. He was talking about the same thing, where like how apparently part of the Majestic documents are
Yeah,
true, but the
yeah,
Majestic documents themselves aren't real.
yeah. These
And
are the
so
false flag operations that are
yeah,
ongoing. I mean, they're going on right this minute. I mean, in the United States, without getting into name calling and event calling,
Oh,
but they're going on right
oh
now.
no,
False
no.
flag
oh yeah,
stuff.
oh
So
yeah, and
uh,
even in like
I
oh, go
agree
ahead.
with you 100% on that one, Jerry.
Yeah,
So if he now if you said Jim, does Lazar believe what he's saying? I believe 100% he believes what he's saying. Okay, I don't doubt that, but I think it might be a false flag operation. That's
So
a good.
they could be putting him out there doing this as
There's a lot of things
miscommunication or
like that.
discommunication.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's going on all over the place. And you know what that does? It ruins stuff with
With
Jerry
us
and
that are
me
true.
and
Yeah.
you.
You exactly. All of
I
us. Yeah.
mean, yeah, it just ruins the experiencers.
You're getting
yeah.
you're getting people over here saying the same thing, that they think so too, that it's a deliberate false flag, and that he hasn't convinced them either. And that's Jim talking to Chandler. So, and
Mhm.
premonition guy. That's interesting that
Oh,
you all
really?
feel that way.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever talk, Jerry? Did you ever talk to my buddy Gene Avey, or do you know Gene?
No.
Never mean Gene.
Mm.
Okay, I'm going to have him on at one point pretty soon. I haven't had him on Coast yet, but typical abductee. He's got some, wonderful genius area. He was like top 50 guitarist at one point in the world, top 50. He was in the top 50 somewhere. and he got a CMA award for something too. And he plays guitar, and he can do some stuff that most people find really, really hard to do. And he'll not only do it, but he'll do it behind his head, do that number and show.
Oh,
He's
wow.
great.
Mhm.
Very, he's,
Yeah.
even though I think he's born like in Iowa or something like that. He's now I think he's in Georgia now, but he's a country guy. So even though he's a northerner, he's like, no, I'm true Southern. And if you heard him talk, he's a Southerner. But he, at one point, as an abductee, he was given how to put it together. He created a craft in the 80s, and he flew it around. And at one point, he went off the planet. And then another point, some private company came to him at one point with this thing flying around, that he created that could go, I guess, which one's, let's see, the speed of light. I guess I think it went the speed of light. Whatever it was ridiculously crazy where nobody would believe it kind of thing. I believe him hook, line, and sinker. I know him very well. Again, he's just an abductee talking to another abductee telling me this stuff. You would know the guy that introduced me to him in the first place. He was a guy that was working. He would build, he would draw flight, like different airplanes, jets, different things that would fly. That's what he did for a living. He would draw these things. Yeah, he was a designer. He's the one that said, Connie, you got to get a hold of Gene Avey. And I can't think of that guy's name. If I said his name, you would know it, I'm sure. He died not all that long ago, and it was a very suspicious kind of thing where they believed he just kind of knew too much about some stuff. And they were on his case constantly along the way. That's what I was told. But at one point, a private organization came to Gene and said, we know who you are. We know what you got. We know what you're doing with it. Mm-hmm. We have not gotten that far. However, we need a group of people to go over on the other side of the universe to help some other people. I'm just giving it to you in about this much of this much, okay? So he said, we believe that your vehicle, with some of our help on it, can get those people there, drop them off, and come back. Will you do it? And he did it. And he had to make all these, like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you got to say this, you got to say that, we got to help you with this, and this. And I think it was like 12 people. Let's just say it was 12. I don't know how many. I don't remember. But he actually put the amount of people that he needed into the vehicle. They made it to where whatever he didn't have, they now had in their vehicle. And he took these people across like the universe to wherever this other place was. And then he came back. And he talked about, he said, I can never mention their names, the people, anything like that, because they were all declared dead on Earth so that they could do this, what they were doing. So they were all declared dead. No one even knew they were alive. They were a bunch of scientists. And apparently they were going to go do and fix some things over there. So I asked him, what's that other planet like? And he said, it looked like Earth in the 50s. He said, that's what it looked like. It looked like Earth in the 50s. 50s cars, 50s home, everything looked like the 50s. That's what he said. And he said they all left on, never see them again. And then we took off. And he's got a whole story to that and a whole bunch of other things. And then at one point it was confiscated. And so as soon as he feels, I think he likes to wait till after taxes or something after November. There's something after November, he said. Once that's done and cleared, then we can talk about it on the air. So you know, but he knows how to do it with, he knows how to build it. And he actually wants to sell those designs so that he can do what we call the blink of the eye, a blink of an eye, where you just blink and you'll be wherever you want to be. He believes that he can design that. And the reason he even believes it, he did there's another one in between that he said Elon's having trouble with. And he's like, I can fix that in a heartbeat. Because basically what Elon is forgetting is there's a frequency involved. Okay. And the frequencies have changed. So I know, Jerry, this will touch you by me saying that alone. And the guy goes, I know the frequency change, and it changed, and people don't know that. And he said at one point, all the airlines had to change something because the frequency changed because of the earth like moved a little bit or something. So do you remember that? So he said people forget that. And because of that, they forget that that frequency, what they're needing to travel with has changed. And they don't think of it changing, and they don't think that they need to go find it. And he says, I know what the frequency is. So anyway, I love this guy. And I think he could have already made the Jetsons vehicles, a long time ago, but they would be, obsolete now, I think, because he would go with the other. You go with the blink of the eye, right? You're going to go with the blink of the eye technology. You're not going to get in a vehicle if you don't have to, right? Anyway, cool stuff.
Yeah, interesting.
So, yeah. So, Jim, do you have anything else for Jerry?
No, not this time.
You want to think on it? And
yeah, I do. I like to talk to him again, though.
Yeah, great.
This is pretty. I love this format too, Connie. It's so chilled.
Just talk, just chat.
Yeah, I like that.
I know. It's like that's what we do anyway. Jerry, do you have anything for Jim, Daddy? You might have something for Jim.
I doubt it. He's just got all that stuff in his head, man. He's told me all kinds of stuff, man. Wow,
well,
wow.
I mean, but your experience, Jim. I mean, that's one of those that is mind blowing too. I mean, and I'm kind of curious, like when the sensation when you touched the craft. Do you remember like any like mind rush or anything like that, or was there any kind of sensation like that?
Yeah, I haven't really described that yet in detail. We have plans, Connie and I, about that.
Yeah.
Bringing that out. Yes, the answer is
Good
yes.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine so.
Yeah, it's enough. I think I could spend a few hours on it.
Awesome.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I do. That's kind of why I was curious.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, Jerry. A lot of things you're talking about, I can relate to in that. And I just wasn't aware that there's anybody else out there that actually had those types of thoughts or experiences. It's sort of, I really enjoyed this, by the way.
Oh, great. No,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah. So I knew that when I listened to Coast to Coast AM with you on there, and forgive me, I was like nodding out. It's not that you weren't interested.
That's all my shows. Yeah,
I know, but it's not that you weren't.
It's a time of day. I understand.
I know.
Yeah, Central Time. It's just a kicker on Central Time, and I says, when Connie brought you up, says about having Jerry on. Oh yeah, I says that because first of all, I don't know. It's a miracle to get a hold of somebody on one of the shows and ask questions. There's so many people calling in.
Yeah.
But I said, man, an opportunity to sit there and talk to them face to face, I can deal with that. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well,
thank you.
Honestly, no, thank you. It's very cool. I mean, you come up a lot in ufology discussions, and I was just even recently, like the ones and zeros came up in relation to their cases, and so like to me, it's fun and kind of surreal. It's like, hey, here's the guy, just talking about that, and how it relates to like the concept of time as a communication bandwidth too.
Yeah.
Hey, this is some really interesting stuff. It seems like we're all kind of onto something there.
Yeah, it's pretty much one of the I tell you about my co-author Gary Osborne did all this research. He did a lot of research, but the thing was the code had to be from December 26, 1980, or none of it would work out for the code within the code. And the technology for the code within the code wasn't developed till 2019. So how does that work?
Yeah.
That's why I said proof in the future. I think we have that.
Yeah, that's super intriguing. Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
But the other thing, I don't always need proof. I'll tell you with experiences, I don't need it. No. You can tell right away if a person is genuine. If they're well, you can tell if they're genuine. Because there's similar things they say that the person that's listening can relate to. And say,
only another experiencer will know.
Only another experiencer knows that.
That's exactly right. We know. We can tell. And I love that Spielberg has highlighted that it's the experiencers where it's going to come from. I don't know, Jerry, if you saw his film.
Not
I
yet,
know
but I plan
Jim
to.
hasn't. Oh, well, sorry, spoiler alert, but
It's okay.
we're recognized, though.
I
We're
don't think you're gonna
recognized as the
spoil
answer
it
is gonna
for
come from us, and I believe that's the case too. I think we're
Mhm.
the ones that know about it more than anybody, just because we're on the inside and we can see it from the inside. You remember it more than, like me, but interesting. Good stuff. So yeah,
Good.
Jim Daddy was a little bit like, "Man, I'm gonna take him down. We're gonna he doesn't know nothing about military." No, he wasn't like that. But it was
I don't really about
it was
military. Like I said, I
yeah.
wasn't in the military.
And I was like,
No,
"Military? Why are you thinking military?" But I guess, when you hear super soldier, because he goes, "Soldier." So I don't know of any super soldiers. So I was
Well, I
like,
never heard of it before. I
I
never
was
heard
getting
of it
away. I was
before
looking forward
outside
to
the
this.
outside the show. I just never heard of it. People think because I had that experience that I know about UFOs and
Everything. You know about
ufology and
everything,
books
Jim.
and people and I find that one case when I'm involved with is enough. I don't have to dig in, I don't have to be digging through all this other stuff. But I tell you what,
true.
that's one of the beauties. So I think you might find this out when you start doing. I don't know if you do the lecture tour. Be careful if you do.
I've done
Um,
some, yeah. And
uh,
yeah, I get you. I get you.
yeah,
Yeah,
but the
that's
Q and
why I'm
A,
very specific.
yeah, Connie loves it. I love it. And I know that you probably love the Q and A because you really get to
Love
find
the Q&A.
some
Yeah.
really good people out there asking those
Yeah.
questions.
Mm.
That's the best part. That's the only reason why I went. But I tell you what, I got up to here with all the other people. I said, "Oh, the
It
opportunists and entertainers. Oh my God.
Oh
There's
yeah,
so
yeah.
many. Yeah.
Oh,
None of us like
And,
that. None of us
oh
like
yeah,
that.
and
They're
then
real.
like how we're mentioning earlier about like these concerted disinformation efforts, and I've seen a lot of that specifically with like the MyLab experiencers too, and there's
Mm.
been some very elaborate ones, and I've seen different motivations. Sometimes it is revenge, sometimes they think they can sell something, sometimes they're
right.
kind of being blackmailed because like they've done something and this group is like, you're going to do this or else, whatever. So there's a bunch of different reasons why people will do this, I've seen. And yeah, it's a crazy world. And and yeah, I did step back from doing appearances and talking at some of the conferences for one and different shows. So been coming back more recently. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing in-person speaking, but definitely do some more shows and I have some more things planned coming up.
Jerry,
I
I
know it's
found
nice to do that.
the college circuit. I found that the best. I
Hmm.
really enjoyed the college circuit because I don't know if it was like, it was like indentured people there because they had to be there, or I don't know. But
They get
I don't
credit. They
know.
get credit, man.
I
They get a
don't know.
credit
I don't know.
score.
But I
They
got
get
the
a
best.
pass or
I
fail.
got great questions out of it, and they were so open-minded in that.
Oh, I
And
love
they
it.
said, "What's the worst thing about this whole thing?" I said, "Oh man," I said, "the worst thing is just getting beat up." I says all the time about it. I said, "But
Yeah.
you know what? Eventually, when you go public, you start talking about it more, all of a sudden, you know what? I don't care what they think." That's exactly where you put all that negative stuff. So I know you're there.
Absolutely.
I know you're definitely there. You don't care.
No, I'm not. I
But
gotta tell people I'm not trying to prove anything.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
And if you want to see the things I'm talking about, you can. But yes, it takes some effort. I mean, just like a skill. That's kind of what I say. Yeah, don't believe me, and yes, I can definitely help get you there, and I won't charge you if necessarily either. That's part of the nonprofit too. Like I said, I don't want to
Yeah.
just be like,
Yeah.
oh, I can help you, but you gotta give me the money. No, there's a
Yeah.
humanitarian aspect of it too. But
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely. I'll do one-on-one coaching. I'll do jobs in terms of remote viewing because I do know the protocols. I've worked with the apprentice with the remote viewer for a while, and use it in my readings in general. Just the protocols because it works great. Just to even give to whoever you're working with. They have like some kind of documentation, and stuff like that. But at the same time, like that's why we did nonprofit, so it's not a barrier. Some of these subjects
Yeah.
for some people.
I got a
yes,
question.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Oh, I don't want to cut you off though. I was just cutting in because you took a breath. It's not
I was just
always
gonna say
easy on Jerry, man. You
You
know
took
what
a
I'm
breath.
saying? I'm like,
It's like,
trying to-
I was
you
just gonna
took a
say
breath.
eventually I'll be doing some more classes and such, and I'll be on the
Yeah.
website. But that was it.
Yeah.
So, I forgot my question now. Darn it, it was a good one.
Sorry.
Oh shoot.
Oh no.
Figure it out. No, I'm gonna figure it out. Okay, so Jerry. Oh,
Jerry, take
wait.
another breath. Take another breath.
Yeah, no, keep going. Yeah, I'm right there. I had it. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Let me ask this.
Okay.
I don't, I know you have great skills. I don't know if you can just do it like that, but I'm just curious. I definitely would love for you to look at the ones and zeros and see what you might pull out of it, with all the different, not tricks, but things you can do. Yeah, the tricks you can do. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. They're
Yeah, no,
not.
I get you. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
And
it's super.
I think
It
that
was
would be so
intriguing,
cool. Yeah.
super
yeah,
intriguing to me. Like, yeah. Right, I'm sorry.
And can you go
whatever.
a little deeper to even see, like, when he got taken? Are you able to go in and see who took him and have any answers?
There's a good chance.
You
Yeah.
think? Yeah. What do you think of
Oh,
that,
Yeah.
Jim
really?
Daddy? Maybe
Yeah.
we
I
have
mean,
you on the next. Maybe we have you on the next time we do Connie Live, which is actually going to be next
I
Tuesday.
don't.
It's a week
Mm,
away. Is that too soon?
I
What,
can give
Jim
it a
Dad?
look. Yeah. No,
Okay.
no problem. Because and this is great because I actually did kind of want to look into the code anyways,
Oh,
but just
good.
never
Okay.
have. And then, like I said, I heard the cross correlation with other experiences too, which further intrigued me. And then now that you're talking about this time factor, it's all synchronistic, where it seems like it was just meant
Right.
to be about now.
But wait a
Yeah.
minute though, Jim. Do you want that? Do you want something like that?
what's that? There was a 6-second break there. Okay.
Um, yeah, he's
There
got
was.
to deal with that.
No, I'm having problems with that.
So, would you even want that? Would you want him to
What?
look into it?
Oh, yeah. No, you know
Okay,
what?
okay, that's cool.
I'm
Okay,
okay. You can come back. If it's stuff I don't want to hear, that's fine. If it's stuff that I do want to hear, that's fine. I don't care. Just your honest appraisal or
yeah.
whatever, and that's
Oh,
fine.
that'll be cool. Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
okay
sure.
with all that. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds intriguing to me. And like I said, hopefully there'll be something that can help here. And like I said, I'm really just intrigued on for my own research purposes. And then of course I do enjoy helping where I can and where it seems fit.
Well, you
So
know what they say, Jerry. One answer from you would be better than no answer from you.
fair enough.
Okay.
That'd
Fair
be
One
enough.
cool.
answer.
That'd be fun. That'd
One
be fun.
answer out of 1,000. That's all I need. One more. That's the way I go
Nice.
each day. One more answer. That's what you work for, and that's why we go and do creepy hotspots. That's why even though we have this little fear thing going up back there, or some
It's
whatever it
scary,
is,
man. There's
it's
it's real
scary. But you know
creatures.
what?
Real
We keep
creatures
going
right
back. You keep going back because we want answers. We
Yeah.
want to know more, and I think that I find that all the experiences I've met, and there's probably only a dozen or so actual, are like that. They,
Mhm.
yeah, they have the same drive, and it's just like what you were
Mhm.
saying earlier about you're doing it because you're a conduit. You want to get this information out. That's all I ever wanted to do. Outside initially, when they told me, say, "I'll go public, it's safe," but I said, "You know what? No, I think that's what drives me is to tell." I mean, um, yeah, I think that's the driving element, really, to inform. And tell them as
Yeah.
much as I know. I don't have all the answers. I wish to God I did, but I don't. I don't have even a fraction of the answers. But
Yeah. I think
I
it'll
like
help you
to.
with your dreams and all that stuff to stop
Uh,
dreaming the same one since 1980. Could you imagine it's like singing the same song since 1980 stuck in your head, when that happens?
Interesting.
they're
He's
pretty
got,
intricate. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
think about
that's
that with him. He's got that one event that's happened and it's like it happened yesterday, right, Jim? When you
Well,
can
it happened
wow.
last night. Last night.
Wow, really?
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
I had a bad night. It was.
I mean, do you mind sharing this
No, it's
experience or?
just sitting. It's sitting up. It's sitting up in bed, just like you said. You're cold sweat, and you do get used to it. They don't make it better, but it does screw up your sleep, man. I mean, like
Are you dreaming of the event as it happened, or are you just getting flashes of it, or what
oh no, it's
happens?
oh no, it's detail. It's there. Yeah.
Is it just a repeat of everything that happened, or is it
Uh, for the
just being
most part, but I remember more into well, I do remember more after
of being taken.
we're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you know what. It's not that
Okay.
I'm trying to keep anything from the public. It's just that when I talk to Connie about it, you know how Connie is. She's organized. She's just an organized person, and well, she is. And you know, it'll be. I won't miss anything. You know what I mean? I won't miss anything because one of the things is the regression. I have that on Super 8. Remember Super 8 film?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. That was psychiatrist's notes. Can you believe that today? No psychiatrist is going to give you their notes on it. They'd be afraid of getting sued, you know, or something. But yeah, and so we got those. I got my journals. I got like 4 years of journals from the time from 80 to 84 and after that. And so yeah, we're going to go into detail about it. It's going to be a little bit of work, but Connie's she's game for it, you know, and that's great.
Yeah, we're going to do a little series on his actual regression first. So he can't. He's really doing great. He's like holding back so he doesn't give out answers before we do our.
No, but you know what, Jerry?
A little
anything you want to talk about? Sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
I don't have a problem with that. Okay.
Yeah, and it does sound like I'll give this a look because it sounds like there's some unease there for some reason, and maybe I can get a perspective on that.
I'll confirm that there is unease. Yes.
Okay. Are you two both okay doing it here, talking about it here with us?
As long as Jim is like, it's really his confidentiality.
I think Connie we sort of agreed to that. I think, don't we?
Yeah, we're open to that, but I think we'll figure out if we have to do that first, and then he does this or what. But you're good with him talking about it.
I want to hear more. I want to hear more from Jerry. That's a fact.
Okay.
You know, I want to hear more from him because it's fascinating. You know,
it is.
Wow.
And
every once in a while there's stuff I can relate to. I go, okay, yeah.
I knew you would.
We're over. Sorry.
I was just thinking earlier when you're like, I'm going to ask him this and that. I'm thinking, you're going to end up liking Jerry a lot. You're going to know he's the real deal. Because it's crazy. I know it's crazy. Yeah, we went over almost an hour. But so, Jerry, you're good with looking into this stuff. And absolutely. You're okay coming back and talking about it at one point? Whether it's next Tuesday or the next Tuesday after that, whatever.
Sure.
We'll let you know what we've got for that. And do you need anything from him? Do you need?
No.
You don't need anything from him. No. What am I? Of course not.
Hey, I think he's already equipped with what he needs.
He's already got something in his head. I just wondering if he needed the ones and zeros and stuff like that. If you know.
Oh yeah, that I might need to figure out where to get a copy of it if I don't find it immediately somewhere.
Well,
but yeah,
you know what I'll do? If you want to, actually, maybe it's better if I just give you send you the actual scans of the actual notebook. Maybe you know what the pages. Maybe that'll. Or do you want them clear or something more clear?
The real thing, yeah. He might.
Sure.
Let me know. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. Really. Yeah. That sounds fine too. But yeah, it's definitely an intriguing thing. Like I said, I like to help where I can. And yeah, I definitely want to see the code. That's very intriguing too, on an intellectual level, and then too, it'll definitely need the triangulation.
I might just, then I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send you the epilogue to the book, because Gary wrote that, and that is his work going from the code within the code and the advancement of it, and I think you'll love it. Yeah, an epilogue that's 60 pages long. You know,
that's a good one. That's a good epilogue there.
He's a detailed guy, and he's in the details too. You know,
his book is this thick.
Nice.
What were you doing earlier? What were you doing earlier that was sizing? You were sizing something. He was probably sizing the book because it's that thick. It's War and Peace.
Oh yeah, the smaller book. Yeah.
But it's got everything, and it'll take you right there. He's amazing. So
very cool.
Cool. Jerry, thanks for being here, and we'll let you know. We just want to do more casual ones like this, so
very cool.
This is so much more fun.
Very fun. Yeah, once again, honored to be on here. Had a great time, and looking forward to the next time we get a chance to chat.
And how was your reaction after being on Coast? Did you get a good
It was
reaction?
great. Yeah, had really good reaction. Yeah, there's a lot of people who reached out. You know what I mean, and was on another show and such afterwards. And like I said, there was some people who just wrote for support too, like, oh, hey, someone else that experienced that, and et cetera. And I'm like, yeah, hey,
Nice.
stay strong, do your thing. Yeah, no, it went great, and like it seemed like everyone enjoyed the show, so that was
Excellent.
a fantastic time.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Speaking of that, anytime any of you guys and any of you all in the live chat ever run across an experiencer, you're one yourself, probably, most likely. I see that who's in there. I know that you are. So tell your other experiencer friends about this show, because we want all the experiencers possible here, because maybe we'll come up with something along the way. And it's not really to come up with an answer, it's just more so to be with real people and not all the opportunists out there that are giving us a bunch of crap that we don't want to hear and takes away from our truth. And, it doesn't connect. All these things do not connect. I always say that because they're not human. They don't think like us. So, we got to say, I saw this or this or this or this. And even if they don't connect, okay, it doesn't mean these things didn't exist. It just doesn't connect our way. We're so much more simpler than whatever they are. I mean, they're so advanced. Who knows what they're not thinking like us. They're not thinking like us. So thanks, Jerry. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
That's great. I appreciate it. So
All
we're
right,
going to be
guys.
back getting a hold of you. Okay.
Sounds good.
Anything else before you go?
No, just thanks again for having me on. I hope to hear from anyone in the audience who found this intriguing or, anything. Feel free to reach out to me. Love to hear from you.
And you know what? I don't know. I can't read my description. So can you tell them what links to go to?
Oh, yeah. The Hollow Tree Foundation, HOLOTRE, foundation.org. And if you want to see more about the invention, that's nonoxbox.com, NONOXBOX.com. So that's a little more about that frequency plastic.
And that's cool. We'll talk about some of that at one point. But and y'all can find him on Facebook. So thanks, Jerry. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, cool. We had Jerry here. And so, Jim Day, what do you think?
Wow, that was intense. Wow.
I know it.
No, hey, good choice, Connie.
Yeah. I've known him for a long time, and man, we would talk about stuff and it just got deep. He knows his stuff and he doesn't hesitate, He can't get it out fast enough.
And he was pretty explicit on Coast to Coast AM with you, but this is really, I love this this living room talk that we have here. I mean, it's really so relaxed. No, it's what do you call it? It's so chilled out. Hey, I'm thinking about getting a coffee maker in here. And,
I know it, man. We just, it's like the campfire without the campfire, without having to be outside, without smacking mosquitoes or gnats or whatever flying around you,
Yeah.
So
I like that. This is a good one. This is a very
isn't that cool though? I mean, he'll have a good insight on your event. So it'll be interesting to hear what he comes up with that and the ones and zeros, the Penniston code.
Oh, that too. Yes.
That's going to be cool. That'll be fun. All right. Well, thanks.
All right.
You want me to send you off?
Send me off that cloud somewhere.
Okay. Right. You have anything else to say? Bye-bye. Okay, there he goes. He's gone. Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here. This is Connie Willis Live. Subscribe if you have not. And make sure you tell your friends, because if I can make this where I want it to be, then, that'll be a good thing. Because we're trying to get money for a vehicle. When I do my creepy hotspots, I always rent a vehicle, and we'd like to have our own so it can be ready, and we can go at any time we want, and we can stay as long as we want, and we can go again as soon as we want. So those vehicles are a lot of money. So if anybody knows anybody in the RV world, truck camper world, and it has to have a pass through, there's all these little things it has to have. But if anybody thinks they know somebody that can help out there, maybe want to sponsor something. That's why I'm just building this up, because then from there I can get sponsors, and sponsors like to do that kind of thing. So please tell your friends, pass it on to all your friends on all the social media that you have, to come over here, subscribe, and to watch these shows, because what I need right now is watching time. Then I'll get back to where I can have the ads again. I know it's not fun to get the ads, but if the money's coming in, then we can get closer to getting that vehicle. So we really have a goal. And also, that's where, if you buy Jim's book, Jim Penniston's book, Jim Daddy's book, if you buy his book, although anything he makes on those now, he's going to start putting toward the vehicle. And so I really appreciate that too. That's very nice. All right, everybody. Again, we're starting out with like 2 Tuesdays a month or something, just feeling it out, seeing what you guys want, if you want more. So don't be afraid to say what you want. All right. So that, because now's a good time to do that, because I'm trying to figure it out to how it will work. So thanks for coming in. Great questions over there along the way too. And I appreciate that. Terry Fisher in the house. He was on with me on Coast not long ago. And that's what we'll do. We'll bring in some people that you all have heard, like we'll bring in Terry. And then at one point, Terry might say something, and I might be like, you know what? Let's ask Jerry about that. Jim's talking about stuff with it. I'm talking about stuff with it. Oh, let's see what Jerry thinks of this too. Come on. What did you think of what Terry just said? And Jim Edwards in there. And Erica can tell her stories too. So, but she's going to talk about Moz. No, you're not. No. So thanks you guys for being here. Please spread the word. Let's grow this. And bye for now from Connie Willis Live. Oh, go find me at conniewillis.com. Okay, bye everybody, and thanks. I got to figure out how to turn this off. There we go. Bye.